Welcome to Thought Bubbles, the podcast where we talk about everything from movies to music to 90s nostalgia and everything that pops in our brains. Episode 2, Millennials. Why do we say we feel old? It's because we do. Back with episode 2 of Thought Bubbles. This is exciting, but we're jumping into something a little different. So no movies for this week, which is both a shocker for my own personal repertoire and also a welcome thing, because we are going to discuss millennial trends, Gen Z trends, and how old it makes us feel.
Oh my god. I already feel triggered. No, I'm kidding.
Literally, it's just like, oh god, I think about it, and honestly, this was good for me, because otherwise I would sit and cry inside knowing that I'm getting closer to 30. I'm halfway there.
I know, like I turned 27 literally like next week.
It's just like baffling.
Wild. Like 30's just, I always think of those memes where like 30 is literally like creeping around the corner, just like waiting to attack me.
I know. I always see like those, Gen Z stuff, TikTok, like where people will be like in their 20s and having fun, and like the 30s is like this creature that's looming in the corner.
Right? Like what
ready
the
to
hell?
take your soul. And it's like, well, shit.
Don't need to call me out so hard, okay? Don't need a reminder.
I know. It's just
my aching joints tell me enough on my own.
Oh my god, please. my inability to stay awake past 11:30 has killed my morale.
Fucking for real.
Oh
like
my god.
I swear my body feels it too. As soon as like 11 o'clock hits, it's just like shut down.
Yeah, it's like you're powering down. It's like, all right, well, that's great. I'm out of juice. How nice.
Fantastic. Yes.
So before we dive into this, just wanted to introduce you as my guest for this week, the lovely Shannon.
Hello. Thank you.
Of course. How are you doing?
Great. Just, finally off work. So I'm literally laying in bed and my dog is asleep at my feet. It's fantastic.
Oh, God.
The best.
It's like the best feeling. Like once I got home, I was like, oh, thank God. Like, let me just like wind down for a second.
Yes.
Especially because I was stuck in traffic for like almost an hour. I was like,
ew. Like I was really worried about that because we got off like a little bit early today, and I was like, great, the traffic's going to be even worse because I'm getting off at an earlier time when everyone's still on the road.
Yes. Yeah. I tried to like even distract the time frame, because I was just like, okay, let me maybe do a little shopping that I meant to do, so that way I can kind of kill some time.
Yeah.
But that did not help whatsoever. I think I was in the store for maybe about 15 minutes and then
back at it again.
Back at it again in my car for almost an hour. I'm like, there's only so much podcast you can listen to before you start to fall asleep.
For real.
Like, I'm sorry to everybody else that makes a podcast, but man.
It's only so entertaining. Yes, go on.
I know it's only 8:30, and I'm just like, why am I tired? Oh, this is awful. But so to dive into this, what is something that just clicks in your mind that really sets it off, that hey, like, I'm reaching this point in my life, or I'm reaching this age because this is something that like a generation doesn't really know about?
Oh God. There's so many freaking things. Oh my God, what did I quote? Okay, I literally quoted something today because I have a freaking high schooler that is at my work right now shadowing. Oh my God, what was it I was saying? It was a YouTube freaking thing too. Like you remember like going on YouTube and that was like our main thing to watch. And now we're always like about like the short clips and like TikTok and stuff.
Oh
Oh
yes.
my God. Okay, this is gonna sound so stupid. It was a fucking Charlie the Unicorn quote.
Oh.
I literally like I was so me and my boss are the same age, and so I was like, ring ring, hello, ring ring, hello, and she's just like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh my God, you've never seen this before. And of course, my boss is dying, and I'm over here like, I'm old. That's YouTube, and she's just like, you watch stuff on YouTube? Yes, bitch, I watch stuff on YouTube.
It's like, yes, before there was TikTok, we would sit there, we would watch like 15-minute, 20-minute videos, sometimes 45-minute
Yes,
videos. Back in the day, like, God, Charlie the Unicorn. God, what else can I think of?
fucking Fred.
Oh my God.
Fred, like that high squeaky voice. The fact that we ended up getting a freaking like Nickelodeon movie about that kid was just baffling to me.
Like, and then you think back on it, and you're just like, God, this is bonkers. Like, what?
No.
Why was it so popular?
Why was it so popular? Why was it so funny? Like, why did we think that was so hilarious?
I don't know. It's just like, what was that other one? Was it a potato? No, the orange, the annoying
Oh,
orange.
the annoying orange. I mean, the annoying orange surprisingly like still like have you seen it? It's actually on TikTok.
I can't believe it's still going.
Like, I want to say though that whoever made the annoying orange is now currently like the little cupcake thing that's on TikTok. I can't remember what its name is, but it's like these little cartoon like short clips of a cupcake and like he's super pissed off about stuff. Like, I'm sure I have to
Okay.
find it where it's like the same person just because they're like trying to stay relevant.
God, I don't doubt it. I mean, that brought them so much popularity, and I was just like, Jesus, like,
I
and I
know.
look back on it because I remember when they made the TV show, and I think it was on Cartoon Network.
Yeah,
I was like, I thought to myself, I was like, why the fuck do you have a TV show, first of all?
yeah.
But then I watched it, and I was just like, I don't think I can handle that much of you for that amount of time. Like,
No, it's way too much. Like it was so over the top. And I'm glad it like by the time it became a show, I was starting to like venture away from watching stuff like that anyway, that I never stuck around. I do have a younger brother though, and he would watch that crap.
oh my God.
It was
My knee.
honestly he was more about the Fred though. Like Fred was like him and his little friends like thing. And I just couldn't because they're going around with these freaking high pitched voices, and I was like, okay, y'all, I'm about to punt y'all across this house. Like, stop.
You're like, this is
So
not
bad.
about to happen on my watch.
No, like it was bad.
Oh my
Ugh.
God. I feel like that was my nieces, though. My nieces didn't get into Fred, but I
Mhm.
know they got into the annoying orange a lot. And they would quote the annoying orange, and they would actually send me clips constantly. And
No.
I was like,
Oh
you guys,
God.
I don't think it's funny anymore.
No, like
I'm
it's
sorry.
done. It's dead. Okay,
It is.
if we really want to dive back farther though, and I feel like this is why millennials are so twisted.
Oh
And I
God.
feel like you're gonna immediately be thinking this too, like catch my brainwave. But oh my God, what is it? Freaking little animal ones, little animals that were freaking.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
Is it like Treehouse Friends or whatever? It's like some
Happy tree
crazy.
friends.
Yes, happy freaking tree friends. What was wrong with us?
I don't know.
I would
I
watch
would.
those and think it's funny.
I don't know why we like. Me and my friends would sit there with what was it, like the sixth grade,
Yeah,
and we would sit there and like look at videos and all their videos, and you'd see like a bunny get torn apart, and then
yeah.
everybody's just like kind of just chilling. And we're all just kind of like, haha, like that's so weird, but okay.
Like this is so bizarre. Haha, funny. Like the very first one, and it seriously like sticks in my brain. It's one where they own like a lemonade stand.
I do
And
remember that.
yes, and the freaking like it's a squirrel that gets its eye like knocked out and they start using it like to like zest like it's a lemon. Like ingrained on my brain for the
I
rest of my life.
it is the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing. And what's so funny about it is the fact that it did not phase us
No.
back then. And I know, like, I saw it maybe, oh God, I think I came across it again like a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I, I winced. I winced and I was just like, I was like sitting there kind of in shock slash terror. And
Yeah.
I was like, why am I watching this?
Oh my God, for real. Like so entranced by that crap, and I should never have been. Like, why did I watch?
Like it's so crazy. It's so crazy, and like you see how much like we've changed and like what we grew up on, and like what
Hmm.
people grow up on now is completely different and mostly I want to say sanitized compared to like what we had.
Yeah, I would definitely think it's like it's a lot more sanitized, even though I will say that now they have a lot more access to a lot of different stuff.
Oh yeah.
But the access to that stuff, though, I think is getting controlled a lot more. We were at the very beginning stages where it's like, there's no rules.
Yeah.
And now everything's just like, you like broke this rule, you're like banned for a while. And it's just like, okay, so now everyone's kind of scared to do that.
Yeah,
You
that
don't
is
see it
very true.
as often.
That is very true. And I mean, like, you can always, I feel like also back then, I don't know if it was as prominent. I'm actually not sure.
Hmm.
But I feel like, like the darker side of the internet wasn't really a thing. So like you would find like kind of like crazy, silly, like whatever shit, like happy tree friends.
Hmm.
But then, like nowadays, like there's so much risk of what you can land yourself onto
Oh,
and
definitely.
like the dark web, all that kind of stuff. And
Hmm.
I don't really think we had that back then or had that like real
Like,
scare.
yeah, like, I mean, I would obviously like the dark web's obviously always been there, but never have I like thought when I was young to find like this and then
Yeah.
end up on it at any point in time. Like you had to actually like make yourself go search for it. Man, if I put any like wording in that is even somewhat remotely close to being like a sexual thing, that is going to spam the hell out of my Google feed. And I'm just
Oh,
like, no one needs to see the search history. Like, no. Like none of it, and it's all innocent crap, but you would never know that.
it's so funny. It's so funny how so many search terms have changed over
Yes.
so much time. And I'm just like, you can't even search for like the simplest things without getting an ad for some like local 40-year-old woman who's looking for love in your area. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I was looking for like I was looking for some bananas. Like I was shopping for some bananas at Walmart. Like,
Oh my gosh. Or
like
like the freaking, oh my God, freaking Snapchat. Like, yes, I still have a Snapchat and occasionally will use it. But freaking like the sex bots. Like random sex bots add you.
oh yeah, I have heard about that.
Like, and I don't, okay. Don't call me out if y'all comment. I don't look up porn on my phone, so I don't understand why anything like that would pop up on my phone. I find that very weird.
Right. I
It's
feel
just
like they just target everyone.
they probably do. Yeah. I just
They-
find that very strange, especially nowadays. Like we were literally talking about running shoes today at work, and I get running shoe ads on my phone. And I'm like, are you fucking for real? Like I talked about it. I never even didn't Google it, didn't go to any pages, nothing. And
Yep.
it still popped up as like it was a Facebook ad.
It's the weirdest thing. It's really the weirdest thing. But like I'll jump on that in a second because back to that, I was gonna finish that other thought is
Oh yeah.
uh back to the like the sex bots that would add you. I feel like they target everyone because even at work, like we use like a texting service
Hmm.
for our residents and whatnot. And one came in one time and I was just like, how the fuck
How is that
did
even
this even happen?
possible?
I was like, how did this even happen? But let's just archive that.
And we're moving on.
We're moving on. Let's hope that does not go to our residents. But now jumping back, the fact that technology can really understand you, especially nowadays, and
Yeah.
it's so different because back then, like, God, like, I didn't even have my first iPod. I didn't even have one until like I was like I think in the ninth grade,
Yeah, yeah,
and
that's about right.
yeah, it was like the ninth grade,
Hmm.
and before then I was like using. Oh God, I didn't even. I think I used a Zune. It was either Zune or MP3 player. I don't know. And then I used a CD player.
Yeah,
And it's just like, and like I didn't have a cell phone like this. So it's just like the first phone I had was this little like blinky Nokia phone that had like these little light up rubber sides.
of course. Like you had to have that.
I had to have that ugly little phone that had, didn't have a screen. Well, it had a screen, but I mean like it didn't have like a real screen.
Yeah, it was like that
And
tiny screen to just show you the number, and that was
literally,
it.
that was it. And I'm just like, it's so funny because I remember back in the day, like you couldn't play a game except for like Worm.
Yeah, that's like you had Snake, and then I remember there being like a little plane you would like go and
Yeah.
basically shoot things, and that was about it.
Yes, I do remember that.
I
And
have
then
no idea what it was called, but yes.
I think it wasn't until I think it was like maybe because I didn't have my first iPhone until like God, I think it was like the 10th or 11th grade. And just after that Nokia phone, I had like this big bulky flip phone.
Yep.
And I think it was from Samsung. I don't remember. But the screen would do like a swivel thing. So you can flip the screen around like all these different ways. And it
Hmm.
had an antenna. and,
Nice.
and I remember playing. It was like the first time I was ever actually able to get like a game on a
Hmm.
and it was Surviving High School.
What?
And that game was my life. I was dedicated to that game. I wanted my character to have the best experience possible in high school.
What the hell?
And I really committed to that game. And then when the phone gave out, I remember I got the iPhone. I think they had it for the iPhone, but then they
Hmm.
stopped making it, so I just kind of moved on.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny how things like that happen and how technology has changed, and like you said, how it like listens to you because
Yeah.
God, like like I wasn't even having a conversation with anyone the other day. Like I was thinking about a trip to God, where was it? I think it was England. And I was
Yeah.
just like, oh, let me, like, I never said it out loud to anyone,
Hmm.
never Googled it. And I was just thinking in my head, I was just like, well, they're probably not that expensive if I look early. Why all of a sudden I look later on that night gives me deals for flights to England, round trip flights to England and back. And I'm just like, okay, no more thinking to myself.
Right? Like stuff like that freaks me out because yeah, like I get that your phone can then like obviously hear you, but shit like that, like I hear that all the time where someone's just thinking about stuff and all of a sudden it pops up. And it's like, when have I said this out loud to where this would even come up to be like an ad for me?
It's the weirdest thing. It is
It's
the
so
weird.
weird.
I'm just like, where do you guys have bugs planted? Like,
Right? Like I feel like, oh my God, like that's a whole conspiracy like theory bunny trail to go down.
oh
Like,
God, I know.
like
I There's probably so much
I'm
deep
about to say
stuff.
that would be like a whole different episode.
That would really be an episode all on its own.
Like the conspiracy, like a conspiracy theory Wednesday, y'all. Um, like, oh my God. Yeah, like stuff with the phone. Honestly, not the ones with the phone freaks me out. It really freaks me out when it's like my work laptop. Like
Oh,
I'm not around it enough, and it is an old ass laptop. Like we have some dated shit at my work that shouldn't even be able to do that, and it does. So it's just
Oh,
like, how? Like, how are you
oh,
doing this?
that is creepy.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. Like, I'm pretty sure, yeah, none of my laptops have speakers on them, so it's not like that. Like, because they're just, like basic work ones. Like, I'm pretty sure one of mine even still has like the CD like spot where you can put a
Oh,
fucking CD into it. Like
oh my God.
that is how old we're talking here.
That's
Like,
how old it
none of them have that anymore.
is. Literally, like you cannot find one with a CD drive.
No, you can't. So you have to like buy it separately if you actually need it, which I find so weird.
That is
Um, so unless it's like my actual desktop, yeah, it's a wild time at work. Anyway, beside the point. Um, yeah, my old ass laptops, man, I'll be just on going to Google to honestly look up stuff to like answer a patient's question just to make sure that I'm right. And all of a sudden I see like an ad in the corner for something that like I was talking about earlier in the day, and I'm like, are you freaking for real?
like it's like why why would you do this to me all of a sudden? Like don't listen to me.
I don't need you to listen. If I
It's
want
like
to look it up, I'll look it up myself. Thank you.
exactly. And if you're watching me, like don't like the moment I open my mouth, just pretend I'm quacking. I don't know. Like it's just, I'm speaking intelligibly at that point.
Yeah.
Like, oh man. But like usual, since we've strayed away from like the main subject.
I apologize for having to listen
No,
to this crack
no.
episode.
It is our oh my god, that is our normal foray, is
It
what we
really
do.
it is. Like every time we're together, we always end up in my car and we will talk bunny trails for hours.
For
We never
hours.
end where we end up starting. Like it makes no sense how we get to where we get. It's so bad.
It's the funniest thing. And I'm just like, and we'll talk about like so many different topics at once. Like somehow they all kind of
Oh yeah,
come
they
together.
connect. Like if
They
someone
connect.
actually wrote it down, they could figure it out.
Oh yeah. Like it would literally be like a football play-by-play. Like in our conversation, they'd be like, okay, they went over here. Now they're
And then
gonna
this
toss
person
the
went over
ball back
there.
over
Yeah.
here. Now they're coming back. They're coming back full circle. But I mean, speaking of which, like, did you guys make it to the Fantastic Beasts showing that day?
Oh my freaking gosh. Yes, we did finally make it to
Okay.
that. God.
Because like once I got in my car, like I realized I was like, oh shit, she said it was at this time.
Oh, yeah, no. So he literally texts me while I'm on my way there and he's like, "Hey, never mind, let's not go." And I was just like, "Oh, well, okay." And then he texts me again later and he's like, "So I'm at Chick-fil-A and now that I've eaten, yeah, let's go to the movie, but now we have to go to a later one." I was just like, "Are you fucking for real? I'm already home." Like, no, like you come pick me up and you get me over there.
It's like you will come get me, you will do the work, and I will go with you.
Exactly. I was like, "What the
Oh man.
child, I swear."
Uh, but now back on the subject of the millennial stuff.
Yes, millennial stuff that makes us feel dated.
It makes us
Obviously, any YouTube trend that we like watched when we were younger, if I quote it, like there's always like these really weird quotes that come up that I'm just like, these kids have no idea what I'm talking about. And
oh
like,
yeah.
and what is it about like specifically, I think our generation, like obviously, I'm gonna go ahead and give it away. SpongeBob, like that's another thing I quote way too regularly. Like I don't know why. It's a child show. I really shouldn't be talking about it more when I'm nearly 30, but it still comes up. Like I talk about the night episode all the time whenever I'm talking about like, oh, I'm taking out the trash at night. Like stupid crap like that. And then like obviously they still have it and they still watch it now, but it's way more I notice prominent in like our generation. Like me and my friend group will say crap like that all the time. It's just like weird stuff. Weird
Oh
quote
yeah.
things that make me feel old. The
It's
fact that now when they look at my driver's license, they have to check if they see a 19, then they realize that I am clearly old enough. That made me feel old as shit when he was just like, "Yeah, I'm looking just for the 1.9," and I'm like, "Excusez-moi, what do you mean?"
You're looking for the last decade.
Like, oh, my soul
It's
left
like,
my
well,
body.
yeah, God, I can already imagine that.
Yeah, that was bad. Like when he said that, I was just like, "Oh my God, like you're right. Like we are past the point now where
We're
you don't
past.
have to look for my actual year. You have to just look for the beginning of it." Shit, okay.
That's where you know we've really hit that milestone.
Oh, we have.
Oh man.
We have indeed. Now, fashion styles that are coming back that I was not
Oh,
thinking would ever ring their way back around.
oh my God.
That make me feel old, but also make me feel enraged.
There's so many that I've
So
seen.
many. And it honestly, it's the early like 90s styles that are coming back that I'm just like, these should have stayed in the grave where they belonged.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, definitely.
low-rise jeans. I'm sorry. I'm a millennial. I like my high-waisted shit. I like the fact that it keeps my tummy in place. Okay? No one needs to see what is underneath the high-waisted jean. Like, yes, if you have a figure, you know what? You wear those low-rise jeans. You wear those low-rise jeans. You pull off like lovely Christina Aguilera, like dirty era. Like, do it. You do
Yeah.
you, boo. But no, do not force that upon me. These little freaking kids being like, "Oh my God, you wear like skinny jeans and you wear high-waisted jeans." I'm like, "Yes, yes, I do." And if
Yes.
that ages me, you can suck it.
Exactly. It's like y'all can come back and have them low rise jeans. You guys can have your, like you said, your Christina, you can have your Britney hit me one more time, you
Yes.
know,
Like,
era.
have
Like,
fun with it. I was literally in Target today and like some of the styles and stuff that were over, and it's this one brand called Wild Fable, which granted, majority of the time they have like really cute stuff, but it brought like all like the graphic, like the cheesy graphic tees that are all cut up like for you, and like,
oh,
oh my God,
oh
yes,
yes.
like there was a Care Bears t-shirt.
The Care Bears have somehow made a huge comeback. I'm like,
How?
I'm like, how and why?
Yeah, like what's the point of them coming back? Like y'all couldn't come up with something else. You just had to bring back good old Share and Care and whatever the frick else their names are.
I could not tell you their names,
Oh, I have
but
no fucking clue. I remember Grumpy, and that's about it.
yeah, I think Grumpy was the only one that I kind of like stuck in my head because it
I think
was
it's
like it was like Grumpy from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. He was always my favorite because he was a little
oh,
handsome.
exactly. Because I'm like relatable. Thank you.
Exactly. It's like I hate the world. This is great. He is my spirit animal, spirit person,
Spirit
but
creature.
spirit creature. But I do know that the Care Bears had just had their 40th anniversary. I don't know if it was a
Wow.
few months ago. I'm not sure if that's the reason why.
I
I
mean,
can't understand.
it's very possible because, like, obviously, Harry Potter just had their 25th anniversary,
Oh,
and when I was in Barnes and Noble, like, it was just Harry Pottered out, and I was like, wow, it's been a hot minute since like. I mean, obviously, the last time they ever had like anything like really heavily Harry Potter themed, which obviously it always sticks around. Like that's something that has like stayed popular
oh,
throughout like the years. Um, but like it was heavy with like different types of books that were like different designs for the houses and like all these plushes and all the wands and all the little figure like pop figures and all this stuff like all over this corner. Like basically Hogwarts threw up all over like a side of the store, and I was like, damn, all right, well that's a thing. So it's very possible though, like that the anniversary is what brought it all back out, especially with some of like the older stuff that it is like it's like they're fucking turning 40, or there's stuff now that's coming out and it's like, oh, this is their 20th anniversary, which by the way, don't look up music and like the whole anniversary of when music came out. I just remember being in a cafeteria dancing to that shit at some dance that we had one year. That's all I
oh,
need.
Oh God.
Like, makes me feel old.
I mean,
Especially
you don't.
whenever it's like I was in middle school when these songs came out. And I don't realize that I was in middle school until someone puts these came out 15 years ago, and I'm just like, oh no.
Believe me, I've already like had the, seeing the TikToks, and they're like, these are some songs that have turned 20, 22 years old or something. And I'm just like, okay, well, let's hear what they are. My curiosity peaked.
Uh-huh.
And then, slowly after listening to the songs and hearing them play back and either seeing the person that's reacting to them not know what they are, or
Oh.
seeing the person know what they are and losing their mind to them,
Mm-hmm.
it just like in my mind, I'm spiraling.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, like, what song was it? Um, Come On Over from Christina Aguilera.
Oh my God.
And they were just like, yeah, the song turned 21. And
Stop.
I was like, don't say that to me. because
Jeez.
because when that song came out, I was almost 10. I think I was 9.
But I say I was 5 when that came out.
I was like, oh God, like
And it's
why?
crazy that I remember that. Thank you, older siblings, for letting me have like a really like expansive repertoire of music that I like now listen to still to this day.
Oh yeah. Like especially now, like for some reason, I think it's maybe because I'm hitting 30 later.
Hmm.
It's like I'm revisiting so much older songs that I haven't heard in a while.
Same.
And it's so funny how a lot of them still hold up.
But I say a lot of them are still a bop. Like there's a lot of music that I'm just like, you know what, this holds up. Like I still jam to this real hard.
Like
Uh
like even though NSYNC and Backstreet Boys are cheesy as hell,
hmm.
they are still so much fun to listen to because it's just like it brings you back to such a time of just kind of like it was just such an innocent moment
Right?
in history
Like
where
the
we were just
fact that I
kind of like
can,
vibing.
yeah, like the fact that I still like remember distinctly like the dances and stuff to those freaking songs.
Oh God, yes.
Like can do all of them.
Oh yeah, same. Absolutely. Like there's people over here like doing like what was it? Oh my God, like like God, I can't even think of the dances that happen now. Like it it's not like for some reason I feel like I'm like having like a brain fart or something. I I see kids like doing these like super super detailed dances.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, you know what kind of dances I had was like Bye 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 from NSYNC, where that was so easy to choreograph.
Dude, why was that the song I was literally thinking of?
Like it was so easy to choreograph and so easy to like repeat and just kind of just do. And God only knows how many times like friends and I would stand there in the gym and like do the whole dance, do the whole routine. We would
Yeah.
I like it's so funny how stuff has changed. And there was a friend of mine that I'm still friends with, and I've been friends with her since I was like God, we were like in the first or second grade.
Hmm.
Um Back when the Powerpuff Girls, the original Powerpuff Girls, I don't count this new one.
No, the new one's trash.
The new one does not exist in my eyes. But like back when the original Powerpuff Girls came out, like everyone was losing their minds to it. Like I thought it was like the coolest cartoon.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I was just like, this is badass. Like there's some bad bitches. Like this is cool. This is great. Like this is fun. And me and my friends, like we would actually, and that's what also takes it back to that time of being so innocent and like things
Hmm.
being so much simpler and simplistic and whatnot. And like you're not thinking about adulthood, but
Looming around the
we
corner.
would go around it like, oh my God, I know. And we would go like at recess and actually play the Powerpuff Girls. Like we would have someone designated for a character. And it was like me and like, God, I don't know, like six other people, and I was always the professor because I was the tallest one.
Well, perfect. Makes sense.
So it made, yeah, it fit perfectly. And it's so funny to think about that. And I'm just like, I'm like, now you cannot pry an iPad out of a child's hand that's that age,
Dude,
or
for real.
like get someone off of Netflix that's that age, because like back then, like we would play outside, and
Oh my God.
I
You
don't know,
aged us so well without just the comment.
just like,
We
oh,
played
like
outside until the lights turned off.
the lights turned off literally until the sun went down, and
Yes, exactly. Drank out of a hose, man.
oh my God.
We didn't die.
Literally, oh my God.
Honestly, it's so true. And I will say, like, it's a little bit different depending on where, like, and especially with the US, like, depending on where you are in the US, it is a little bit different. I have, I mean, but I have like seven nieces and nephews. Like, they'll play outside until a certain age point, and then all of a sudden it's all about my niece is all about Netflix, and one of my no two of my nephews now are like all about video games. They're always on like playing with their friends, and that's how their friends play. Like even with video games with us, like I feel like I was in that middle point where yes, we played outside a lot, but we also had like the newer PlayStation, like PlayStation 2 and Xbox 360 came out. And so we would have that, but we'd always play together because there was more multiplayer games. But now it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you have to have two different consoles, so why even be in the same room? Like you could be at your houses and you can still play. Like it's so wild how much that has changed.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you said, it was like the ability to kind of like, even though like you weren't outside, you still were together
Yeah.
spending time with people, and it's just like that doesn't really happen anymore because like everything's like
No.
online multiplayer. Well, not everything, but a lot of stuff is online multiplayer, and it's just like,
Like you
people
don't.
jump on like a party chat. Like I've noticed
Yeah.
like like people would like, I'm playing on my Xbox, and it's like people will just like hit me up and they're just like, "Hey, you want to like party chat over this?" And I'm just like, "Don't you live like 15 minutes away?"
Exactly. I was like, you want to just come over here?
Like, you can bring your controller, or I have an extra one. Like, it's just
Yeah.
like, hello. Like, what happened to human connection? But like, it's so funny how stuff like that has changed and evolved. And I'm just like, God, like even with my phone, like I'm no stranger to not putting down my phone. Like
Oh yeah.
I have my phone in my hand constantly.
Hmm.
But it's so weird to me because like I don't know when that started, and I don't know when it changed.
Honestly, I can kind of remember whenever I started to get a little bit more hooked on it. And it's whenever my phone ended up being more accessible to stuff. Like
Yeah.
whenever I finally transitioned, so I've never been an iPhone person. My family has always been like Androids or anything that basically wasn't along the line of iPhones. So I remember the very first phone that I got that had access to the internet and I could like watch videos and stuff on my phone and everything is whenever I got I want to say it was a Samsung. Yeah, it was a Samsung. It was whenever the freaking like whenever Microsoft was making their phones, and I got a
Oh,
Samsung Microsoft phone. Forgot what those were freaking called. Beside the point. But that had like it had access to apps, so I was able to get onto YouTube and I was able to get onto Facebook and stuff like that. Once we made that crazy transition from being on fucking MySpace.
oh
Um,
my God. Oh God.
once we made the transition from that, I was able to get access to all that stuff. And I think that's when I started to get more hooked to it because I no longer had to be in like when all of our like my friends and I would like hang out, it was always that one room. It'd be like your parents like office room. We'd all be around like the computer and we'd be on like our MySpaces trying to fix the pages or watching
Oh,
YouTube videos and stuff. Like I didn't have to do that anymore. I had it in my hand. So we all were always on our phones and we'd use it for pictures because I remember having a camera that I still have because I'm going to get these photos developed one of these days. But I have like this camera that has all these photos that me and my friends side and basically like had ourselves a little photo shoot. Like now we all do it on our phones and our phones can edit and stuff. So like it's just once that transition happened, I think that's when we got hooked a lot more because of the ease and the access to it.
Yeah, that is very true. Yeah, it's all about that. It's all about that ease of access. It's about
Oh, definitely.
God. That's such
It's so sad because like we're so easy to please. Like, oh, you're gonna give it
literally.
all right here into my hand. Thanks.
It's like
Immediate
literally.
gratification. Awesome.
It's like literally. It's like the first thing that pops in my head sometimes is like, God, is there an app for this? Like
Yes.
to make
Like there
their
has to be
life
an app for that,
easier.
right?
Like there has to be an app for it, right? Like hold on, let me look it up. Like it's so funny how that, how that's happened. I'm just
hmm
like, oh my God. No, but God, jumping on the MySpace thing. Oh shit. Oh, MySpace. And here's the
MySpace, oh, we
like,
thought we were all coders.
God, I literally like I would decorate mine. I had like so many like widgets and stuff on there.
Dude,
And I remember I had that one little music player that looked like an iPod.
yes.
And I could already tell you what my top prop I maybe not my top five, but my top three. One of them was Shake It by Metro Station for sure.
Yes. Oh my God. One hit wonders, man. That was such a
Um,
great song.
I, and that's an iconic song that just does not, die. It doesn't fade. Like it aged well.
Yeah.
Another one I can say is probably, oh God, it might be Helena from My Chemical Romance.
Yes,
Another
definitely. Iconic.
iconic. And I know at one point Kesha's TikTok was on.
I mean, that was on everybody's at one
That
point or another. No one can lie. TikTok was on there at least once for a second until someone said something to you and you were like, okay, I should probably let it die now.
literally everybody's just like, really, you're listening to that? And it's just like, okay, okay, I get it. I get the hint. Everyone doesn't
Like,
like it.
poor Kesha.
I know, feel bad for her. Just like
I
everyone
know, like
gives her a
she's
little bit.
forever stuck in like I remember seeing her on like MTV Music Awards with like all the freaking glitter and everything, and it's just looking like an EDM vomited concert.
Oh, God.
Bad.
Looks like some kind of like glitter skittle. Like I don't know what was happening there.
Yeah,
Like,
what was happening there?
and it's so funny because like she's one of those that just like everyone just associates her with that era.
Yeah.
And I personally think like the era afterwards was better,
Oh, definitely.
because it
Yeah.
actually showed her range.
Hmm.
But that era that everyone associates her with was the era that was like the most popular because it was like the most like earworm kind of like infectious music.
Uh-huh. When everything was always like it was simple and repetitive and just
Simple,
like
repetitive, always had like a small little EDM drop.
uh-huh.
Like it's so funny how like because I remember when that song came out, I think it was like it's my junior year of high school,
Hmm.
and everyone was just like losing their mind for it because like it was so different. It was so, but it was like so then that it
Oh,
just
yeah, because that was like the era because you had TikTok and then that's when Lady Gaga came on the scene with
oh,
Poker Face and freaking Sexy and You Know It comes on and
oh
like
God,
oh my God. And I just remember like watching all of those, which of course like Lady an iconic queen, but
right.
like a lot of those like you don't really hear much from anymore. Or if you do, it's just like when you think of them, all you can think of is that specific point.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
because I was like, what, like late, like it was honestly, it was like right before like 2009, 2010, I think.
Yeah, I think it was like
Maybe a little bit earlier. Oh my God, yeah, it was a little bit earlier because I remember my dad like totally cringing about us singing freaking Bad Romance and stuff.
oh my God. But see, that was an era of Gaga's that was like, it was so different. And she was like trying to change it, trying to change the music scene. And I'm just like, like her music like stuck well.
Oh, definitely. All of her stuff slaps. Are you kidding me? I still listen to all of it from the start
Oh,
to now. Like I will listen to everything and sing every damn word.
oh yeah, same. Like me personally, I wasn't the hugest fan of Joanne. Like I thought it was okay. I thought
Rude.
it was okay. It was
Mhm.
just it was just such a departure from like
Oh
what
yeah.
normal, and it kind of took me out of it for a second. But
Hmm.
when she hit back with like Chromatica, I was just like, oh God, this is this is this is like what was the album? The Fame.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is great. But I mean, Joanne, like there was probably a few songs off of Joanne I did really like, but most of it I just kind of I don't know. Maybe it just didn't connect with me that well.
Yeah. I mean, it was such like, especially like from where she, what was the album that came out like, literally just before that one? Oh, that's gonna
Oh,
bug me.
oh God, before Joanne, Art Pop.
Yes. Okay, so you go from like the difference of art pop to Joanne. That's such like a stark contrast.
Oh
Like
yeah.
way different. So I could definitely see how like not a lot of people came to that one, and then she ended up going back to like, Chromatica and stuff, and it makes sense. But I liked it because it showed like a different side of her range.
Oh yeah.
This is
Means
all beside the freaking point, but still. Um, Bunny Trail 5,000. Have y'all been keeping count at home?
I'm like Bunny Trail number what 77.
Yes, for real.
um
Lord.
God, like jumping back onto the main topic, like I saw a meme the other day
Oh God.
and it made me cringe slash cry
This was
because
great.
it it literally showed a picture of a CD player
Hmm.
and it said I just asked my sister just asked me what this was, and I told her what, like I asked her, what do you think it is? And she said, isn't it that little robot that vacuums?
Oh my gosh, they thought it was a freaking Roomba.
And I was like, oh God. Because
No.
every time I think of a CD player, it takes me back to those days where I would be in the car
Hmm.
and I'd have my headphones and I would take my CD player with me everywhere I went.
Yes.
And I remember, this is how old I really feel, is because I had CD singles. I
Oh
was like,
wow.
see those ever anymore at
N-
all.
No.
Just like cassette singles. I had cassette singles too. And I I remember going everywhere with my CD player and I had like what was it? It was the soundtrack to, I'm trying to think, it was a movie.
Mm.
Um no, not, I almost said Jimmy Neutron. It's not Jimmy Neutron. It was
Oh God, Jimmy Neutron, Jesus.
okay, I'm blanking, but I remember I had the CD single from Bare Naked Ladies One Week,
Of course.
and I played that song on repeat. And then I also had, that I would carry with me everywhere because I was in love with him for the longest time, and I don't know why, was Aaron Carter.
Oh God.
And
That is a throwback.
that is a major, major throwback. And I had the Oh Aaron CD, and
Oh.
I would sit there and listen to it. And then I would like when I'd get home, I would just sit there and like while I was listening to it, just like look at the album cover and like open the CD and like unfold all the the cut
Oh
the
yeah, because
like
inside of it was always like pictures and like descriptions of the songs.
the songs, the lyrics, and then the
Uh-huh. Oh
you
my
unfolded it
gosh.
all the way, and then it had like a big pinup poster of Eric Carter, and
Yes.
I was just like, oh God. But it's so funny to think back on that time, and I'm just like, God, that really makes me feel so old.
Does.
So old. Oh, I remember what soundtrack it was now. It was the soundtrack to Pokemon, the first movie.
Oh my God, what a good soundtrack. Go
Like,
you.
right? And what's so funny about it is you wouldn't expect that kind of soundtrack to come from a movie like that.
Dude, for real. Like anyone who listens to it, y'all go look it up. It's pretty freaking great.
Literally, just skim the track list and maybe give a few of them a listen. You will see how bonkers.
That whole like the soundtrack to that freaking oh my God, what was I? Okay, no, my brain's not even gonna let me recall this. So I'm just gonna stop. Um, but listening to like oh my God, what soundtrack did I always get? Oh, any of the Step Up movie soundtracks, man.
Oh my God.
Those are always the best.
Literally, those are always the best. Like where they had like those like Joe Budden songs.
Yes. Oh my gosh, those
Oh
and then
my God.
like any of like the I remember whenever I had my CD player, the very first CD I ever got was freaking and the fact that she made music, Lindsay Lohan. I had her I'm pretty sure the album was called Daughter
Oh
and
God.
it was like her kind of like Ashley Simpson-esque type
Y-
album.
Yeah, it was like that more raw.
Be
Yeah,
raw and like emotional. But the emo days, let's be for reals.
literally.
Um
Ashley
like
Simpson was like the iconic queen who set that in motion.
she really freaking did though. Like between her, Lindsay Lohan, and then of course like uh oh my God, who else am I thinking of? They all like went through it too. They all dyed their hair dark and they all had like these moody ass songs. I'm just like I'm freaking like 13 over here acting like I have so many problems.
Oh my God, I know. Like I would sit there and just like I remember back in the day, like I would listen to Michelle Branch.
Oh.
And I there and scream at the top of my lungs that song All You Wanted.
Oh
And
my God.
I remember my mom coming in. She's like, "What? Like, do you even know what the song's about?" And I'm like, "Yes, it's about life."
It speaks to me.
It speaks to my whole embodiment of my soul. Like between that song and God, what was that other one? There was another one that came out around the same time. I think it was Stacey Orico's
Oh, that's
There's Gotta Be More to Life.
good. Yes.
And I'm just like, it's so funny because I listen to that song now. And I'm just like, I know for a fact she was talking about probably like being an adult and growing into adulthood and like trying to get like her, her big break and her big, her big moment or whatever.
Hmm.
And like I'm over there just belting the shit out of that song. Just like, there's gotta be more to life.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's so funny because I'm just like, God, like that song just like lives in my brain forever.
There are
And
songs that just do that.
they really are.
Like they do that and like songs that I just recall and like will always remember like the moment of when I was listening to it that just sticks in my head. Like
Yeah,
freaking like Lizzie McGuire, whenever the Lizzie McGuire movie came out,
I already know what you're gonna mention.
dude, me and my best friend, that final song, you bet your ass we reenacted that whole damn thing.
So did
Like
I.
we I remember distinctly being at her house. and we were in her living room, and we would go back and forth like we were the twin Lizzies, just rocking it out. And I was just like, oh my God, like, oh, honestly, if she ever decided to go on tour just to perform like all of her old stuff, I would most definitely be there.
Oh, absolutely. So would
Like,
I, because I think she. I remember she did for Metamorphosis, but I didn't go.
sad.
But I know, that's one of those moments where I just wish I would have gone. Like I wish I would
Hmm.
have experienced it. Just like I know you don't like her, but Taylor Swift. I know you don't like
I'm immediately canceled.
her. You're not a Swiftie.
The Swifties are coming for me. I can feel it.
Oh my God. But like
Her wee
the
country self, like going to her old Tim McGraw days.
well, not that far. Because
Oh,
here's the
ooh,
funny
not
thing.
so far
I,
back. Wow.
like here's the funny thing. Like I wasn't really a huge fan of hers back in her like country days. Like I thought she was all right, but it wasn't until like maybe like Love Story and like further on.
Sir,
And
fake
then
fan.
I did, like I think from like the old days, like I think I liked Picture to Burn.
Oh, yeah.
And then I didn't really care for anything else. And then she hit Love Story and You Belong with Me. And I was just like, okay, I see where she's coming in from.
Ugh.
But I do regret not going to the 1989 tour and
Mm-hmm.
the Reputation tour because I had opportunities to go to both and I
Uh-huh.
didn't. And those are probably two of the most iconic albums that I still personally listen to on maybe not a daily basis, but I will what like when I'm in like the mood, like I will search them out. Like I will be like, "Hey Siri, like play 1989 by Taylor Swift." And I will wait for her ass to play it. And it's so funny because um God, I don't even remember the thought that I was initially at. Um
Missing out on these concerts that we should have gone to.
oh my God, no. But I told somebody the other day because I was actually gonna take a week off in June, and I was gonna go see the Backstreet Boys, just because I've never seen the Backstreet Boys, and I'm like, fuck it, why not? But it's it's so funny because everybody's just like, somebody asked me the other day, they were just like, "What was the first concert you ever went to?" It's just like, you ready to make me feel old? Okay, brain, let's go. It was In Sync.
Oh my gosh, that's freaking awesome though.
It was
Like, okay,
In
how old were you when you went and saw them?
8.
Oh, you were so young.
I know, I was 8. It was I if I remember correctly, it was the Pop album.
Wow.
Yeah, if I remember correctly. I think it was the tour for that one.
Wow.
It's and it's so surreal because I don't really remember a lot from it, of course, because it was
You
fucking
were a wee babe, yes.
23 years ago. Um uh but like it's so funny because I'm just like I know for a fact I've seen them.
Hmm.
But another thing that really made me feel old, shy, like completely separate thought. Don't know why this popped in my head. So I have this scrapbook. It's not on my person right now. I actually don't know where I placed it last, but I know I have
Hmm.
it. But it's a scrapbook of because back in the day I used to keep movie tickets because that's when I realized that I was obsessed with movies.
Yeah.
So I started like when every time we go to the movies, like I would keep the movie ticket. It was like my little like souvenir every time we would go. And I remember scrolling through the scrapbook, like I think it was like just before I moved here. And I saw a movie ticket for Shrek,
Hmm.
the movie ticket for Harry Potter,
Nice.
the movie ticket for Recess,
Oh my
school
gosh, I forgot they had a movie.
I actually just watched it a few months ago, and I'm just like, what? How is this movie still good? Like,
Honestly, the whole
happening?
show.
Like, what the hell's happening? Like, I'm still enjoying this. Um, I still had a ticket for Doug's first movie, which is wild, and I
That is
don't even remember
wild.
it in theaters.
I don't remember that being a movie in theaters like at all.
I The only reason why I do is because I remember I used to watch Doug all the time.
Hmm.
Forced my mom to take me.
Oh, okay.
I was just like, we are going to go see this.
I
She,
definitely
she
forced
was,
my mother to take me to the Wild Thornberry movie.
oh God, I saw that.
Did you see it whenever I'm pretty sure it was 4D and they had the little scratch things that you would scratch and they would put a thing up on the corner of the screen and you could
Oh
like smell
God.
whatever that was that they were smelling.
Oh God. Didn't they do that in Rugrats too? The
Yes,
Rugrats
they
one? Oh,
did. It was like a whole like Nickelodeon movie thing.
oh God. And I remember you would scratch it and there was times where it would smell God
Awful.
awful. And
Like
I was just like,
terrible.
what is this experience? Like, what
I
the
don't
hell are
freaking
we doing?
know.
Like, this is the weirdest thing. But another flashback that I had is I remember my friend that I had on the episode last week, Brianna, she reminded me
Hmm.
about when we were in the fifth grade and we all went to go see Spy Kids 3D.
Dude, Spy
And
Kids 3D was like it was so great.
it was so, like it does not hold up now, but
Oh no, I've rewatched all of them. It's so bad. And please don't watch the new Spy Kids movie. It was a terrible time. I was so pissed throughout all of it.
I I I didn't even get to 3D because I rewatched the first one. I think it was maybe like last year.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, God, this movie looks terrible. And it's so incoherent. It makes absolutely serves no purpose and makes absolutely no sense.
No.
But back then, those were just like they were I don't know, it was like a staple to where they were just like cemented in like iconic history.
Oh, definitely.
To
Like
us, it was like the coolest thing in the world.
exactly the coolest thing in the world. Like hell, because that came out, and then not too long after that, Shark Boy and Lava Girl came out.
I try to forget about that one.
Oh my God, are you kidding? That was whenever I first had like my hardcore crush on Taylor Lautner. I was just like, Shark Boy can bite my preteen ass any day.
Like Taylor, you're more than welcome to dream your way into my heart.
Oh my God. That song sequence, what was that?
I,
Oh, that was so bad. Ugh,
what was the whole movie?
true. The whole movie was
Uh,
crap. Like freaking, what's his name as Mr. Electric?
oh, George
Oh,
Lopez.
yes.
Yes.
They did him dirty. They're like, oh, he's got a big head, so he can be this big-headed, like, light socket guy. It's cool.
It was the weirdest thing. Like that whole movie. Like, okay, here's the thing. I get it. Robert Rodriguez, I'll give it to him. He's creative, but then again, he also relied, like for those movies, he relied a lot on his kids' imagination.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I was like, that's actually pretty smart because you can
Hmm.
like wild and crazy shit. And I and I'm just like, I'm thinking in my head, I'm just like, it's smart, but did you let your children take full creative control?
Like, who
because
was actually behind all this?
because what the hell happens? Like
Yeah.
the moment I was watching Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and I remember going to theaters to go see it. I don't know
Yeah, I
why.
was say I saw that in theater.
I saw 3D, saw it,
Uh-huh.
was ready for it and everything. And the moment they said, I think it was Planet Drool,
Yes.
I was like,
Ew.
what is happening? Guys, guys, are we what did we
Ew.
lose our minds? And it like it was bringing me back to like a Batman and Robin moment because
You can't hate on Adam West freaking Batman and Robin.
No, no, no,
The
no, not
cheesiness.
that one. Not that one.
Okay.
I'm talking about the Clooney one.
Oh God, no.
I'm talking about the
Oh, fucking the
George
worst.
Clooney, Chris O'Donnell, Alicia Silverstone, and Arnold Schwarzenegger
Ugh.
hot mess of a melted expired Sunday. Whatever the fuck
That's the
that
best
was.
way to describe that. That, yeah, definitely worst Batman right there.
Oh my
Like,
God.
hands down was a train wreck.
That I think about it and I'm just like, this
Mm.
is like I feel like Shark Boy and Lava Girl is like on par with that, but at least Shark Boy and Lava Girl you can kind of laugh at because it's
Yeah.
so ridiculous. But Batman and Robin just as a Batman,
Uh,
it frustrated me.
oh, definitely.
It frustrated me
Definitely.
so much while I was watching it. Oh my God. What was I gonna say? I was gonna throw it back to something else that was probably gonna make you feel old for a second.
Oh, Jesus, thanks for
Um,
that.
yeah, of course, my pleasure. Um, Tamagotchi.
I was already thinking that. How dare you? My Tamagotchi, rest in peace, is
Oh,
dead somewhere in a landfill.
oh, God only knows how many of mine have rested, you know,
Oh.
in the most peaceful way possible. Maybe not the most peaceful way because there's many times where I've not fed them.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's like when I saw Turning Red, and
Hmm.
that takes place in 2002, so it has like that boy band era. That was one of the things I liked about the movie is it kind of flashes back to like that time frame and that time period. And I was just like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah. I still
But
need
she
to
had
watch it.
something. It wasn't. You haven't watched it yet.
No, I still haven't watched it. I need to. That may be what I
It's
do after this.
like it's good. Like don't get me wrong, it's good. Like is it like top tier, like absolutely perfect Pixar? No, of course not.
Yeah.
But when the moment she had something hanging on her shorts and it was like a not like not Tamagotchi because I guess they weren't gonna say the name. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's Disney. I mean, you could pretty much buy the name if you wanted to. Um, Once I saw that, I was like, "You're joking!"
That
Like,
is fantastic.
my God. And then I watched, which I highly don't recommend because it's a terrible movie. Senior Year with Rebel Wilson.
Okay, we'll not
Uh,
watch then.
yeah, it's absolutely awful. Uh, they did a lot of like 2001 2002 like stuff and there was like a lot of like the outfits, the way people wore their hair, um
Mhm.
the not only the scrunchies but the little clips of the little cherries
Oh yeah, like
and
the little butterfly clips and stuff too.
like those
Yes.
ones that weren't actually like clips but they were like tie around but they were like little cherries
Yes, yes. God, those sucked though. They'd always get stuck in my hair.
that I have seen that happen. I have seen that happen. I actually had to help a friend out one time because it was a whole mess.
Like
But
they made no sense, but yes.
they really made no sense. They were cute, but they made no sense. But uh the only bright spot of that movie was for some reason they did like a montage scene
Hmm.
and it just put so much like joy on my face because they actually recreated the entire music video of You Drive Me Crazy from Britney Spears.
Oh, that
And
is
down to
fantastic.
down to the waitress outfits, down to the strobe lights, down to the and it puts such a big smile on my face. One, not only because that song is like a part of my huge part of my childhood.
Yeah.
Two, like that is anyone can ask me this question. Like as a like I'm still a Britney fan, of course, but like that is my absolute top tier favorite song of hers. People
Yeah.
think I'm crazy when I say that, but I'm just like that was my song.
Yeah.
Like that song hit different And I know some people have like toxic, and some people have like womanizer, and some people have like, later on stuff or in the middle,
Hmm.
lucky, all this other stuff. But You Drive Me Crazy just hit like in a different way.
Yeah.
And once I saw them recreate that, I was like, Jesus Christ. That song came out in 1999, first of all.
Oh.
And I remember that really terrible romantic comedy that they associated the song with Melissa Joan Hart, which I think was called Drive Me Crazy.
Oh.
Um, it's definitely not a good movie. Um, and it makes me laugh because I was just like, I remember watching the video and like, they back in the day where they would have those music videos with like the actors from the movies in them.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, you don't really see that anymore. Like, you don't really see
Yeah.
music videos that are designated for like a movie or like a song that's designated from a movie, and they'll either flash through scenes of the movie somewhere or they'll have
Hmm.
like the actors in it. Like, it's not like, I feel like that was just such a thing for that time.
Honestly, like, okay, the biggest one that I remember so much is Decode by Paramore from the freaking
Oh,
Twilight movie.
oh my God.
That is what I immediately think of when I think of like adding the movie into it because it literally was them standing in the middle of a forest, vampires running through it. You see the deer, like the whole thing from like the intro of the original Twilight movie.
It's it's
It
so funny. And I'm just like even though I know those movies are bad, but they're also kind of a guilty pleasure.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah, I definitely went through and watched them all again. Like, and what's so funny is I made freaking Clay watch it. And I'm like yelling at the TV because I'm just like, this is so fucking stupid.
And in his mind, he's just like, "Why are you watching it?" You're just like, "Don't worry about it."
Exactly. He's just like, what are you doing? He literally goes over there and he starts sitting down and watching it too. And I'm just like, it's infuriating, isn't it? He's like, why is she with this stalker? And I'm like, I don't know. Red flags everywhere. And she's just like, oh, okay.
Like, the whole movie is such a red flag, and it's so funny to like think
Oh my
about
God, I know. Because like
because
who? Like there's this, oh my God, there's this TikToker that I watch that she's been watching them and she like does voiceover with it and it's so fucking funny. Definitely gonna have to send you links later. And she's over here just like, these people, and then freaking like realizing now that we're older, the attraction that we have to Carlisle Cullen and her freaking dad. Like, Mr. Swan, he can get it. Like,
oh my God, oh,
and she's
her
just like,
dad.
yes, put me in
Oh,
jail.
I know.
I'm like, girl, same.
And it was so because like I remember like I had a crush on Robert Pattinson for the longest time.
He
Like,
honestly, I have more of an attraction to him now than I did then.
really?
Yeah, like I after like I just recently watched The Batman and then I
Uh,
watched the movie that he's with Tom Holland in. Yes, he's a creeper in that movie. I don't care. Come at me. I found
I
him very attractive in that movie. But him and the Batman though, I was just like some part of like my inner emo child was just like, ooh, okay. Like, hello.
I know every time he didn't have the suit on and he was Bruce and he
Yes.
had like that smoky eye with like the
Hmm.
I was like, oh, oh,
Like,
Rob, you can come rob me anytime you want. like,
like,
like, oh
oh
my
my
God.
God, like him and Zoe Kravitz, I was just like, okay, this is just a bisexual dreamboat of a movie. I love this. I'm
Oh,
here for it all.
literally, literally. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I can honestly say I have never been attracted to Selena Kyle until Zoe Kravitz. Like,
Right?
what
Like,
the hell? Like, not only was she like sassy and charismatic, but she was like sexy and like sassy and charismatic.
yes.
I'm like, you bitch.
Like
I
how
was like, why did you do this to
I was
me?
like, how dare you make me like this character this much? Why?
God, I know. And I'm just like I never really gave a shit about Catwoman before. And I'm just like, I remember when I first heard she was cast as Catwoman, I was just
Hmm.
like, I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
And the moment I saw it all playing out, I was just like, this is great.
Yeah.
Everything about this is great. And people, I remember so many people argue, they're just like, oh, she's not even better than Michelle Pfeiffer. I was like, bitch, she is. I will come at me, everyone, but I think she is better than Michelle Pfeiffer. But Michelle Pfeiffer is pretty up there.
Oh yeah, no. Michelle Pfeiffer is definitely up there, but like I thoroughly enjoyed her whole thing. Like
Oh,
all everything about it, the way that she like portrayed the character with her mannerisms and like even the accent that she decided to go with for it and everything. I was just like, yes, thank you. I love it.
yeah.
Mainly because I
Um,
was just like I
so
connected it
great.
so much with like the Catwoman in like the Arkham series of the games and then um playing Injustice. I
Yeah.
was just like, I love this version they decided to go with. This is great.
Yeah, it
Besides,
honestly
great,
fits
now that I've
perfectly.
gone down our buddy trail of Robert Pattinson and
Into our little Batman fantasies over here.
Mhm. Oh my God.
Man.
We had to touch a little bit on DC characters, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I did Marvel last week. Let's throw some DC in there. Um,
But yeah,
no.
like that was like the early like I because I get like a lot of people like from that movie had that attraction to Robert Pattinson. Again, as soon as Taylor Lautner cut the hair, I was still more attracted to Taylor Lautner than I was Edward or Robert Pattinson. I was just like,
I was,
even though my brain, I was over here, I'm like, y'all hit me up with like Emmett and Jasper. They can get it. They can still
oh
get
my,
it.
oh my God. I, d- I love, um, Jasper, and I'm trying to, off the top of my
I'm
head,
trying to think of
remember.
the actor's name.
For some reason, it's not
Yeah,
clicking
it's
my
not coming
brain,
to me.
and I know who it is, but I saw a TikTok, back to TikTok, of course, but of someone making fun of Twilight, and they were
Mhm.
just kind of like highlighting like the weird mannerisms they really made them do in that movie. And like I think Jasper's was probably one of the funniest
Oh,
because
definitely.
for most of the time he just kind of stood there like wide-eyed,
Yeah,
like a
because he
bloodthirsty deer. And I was just like,
was.
oh my God. I was like, this man is going to, probably slit my throat, but in a cute way.
But he was like, but I'm not mad. He's gonna make me feel calm about it the whole time, and I'm okay with
I
that.
know. It's the same thing that was going through my head. I was just like, maybe I'm here for it. It's like I guess I'm ready to be a Cullen. Let's go.
I know. Honestly, like the moment too, and everyone always talks about it, and I know I've seen it on TikTok a bunch of times. It's the original Twilight movie, the very first one, when they go out and play baseball and he does that little bat flip.
Oh God.
Like, I was like, please hit me with it. I don't even
Oh
care.
God. God, yes. That whole scene.
Like, that whole scene is just fucking great. I loved that whole scene. Because it's
It's
definitely like because I read all of them and I was like, this is exactly what I pictured. Did I picture the freaking bad guys to be coming through the forest like they're just strutting through and that's their way of running? No, I legit thought they were running, not walking. But
it,
everything else about it on point. I was here for it.
that baseball scene was probably one of the funniest things.
Ah, but it was great.
It was great, but I think what I loved the most about it is the fact that it was like it stood out because it was so wild. Like I'm sitting there and I'm just like I remember it happening, and everything like that.
Mhm.
Like and I knew it was gonna be placed in there at some point. I
Yeah.
just wasn't expecting it to kind of look like that. And
Uh-huh.
I was like, this is amazing. Like they
Yeah.
are committed to this. But I will say there was a little bit of a editing thing. I don't know if maybe it was just the cuts that I've watched, but it looked like they reused several scenes like a couple of different times. And
Oh, probably.
I was like, wasn't that the same shot that he just used? But okay.
I also still laugh about the fact that Robert Pattinson flips off oh my gosh, what's his freaking name? The guy that plays Emmett. He flips him off at one point and like they left it in there. Like no one was gonna notice.
Oh yeah, I
And
do
I was
remember.
like, I caught that even as a freaking wee teenager. I caught that shit.
You were
Like,
like,
did he
wait,
just like slowed it down? I was like, he did. Little shit.
hold on. I think that wasn't supposed to be in there, just like that Starbucks cup in Game of Thrones.
Oh my God. Starbucks good.
Oh my God. Like, okay, don't kill me. I still have not watched Game of Thrones. God, I don't know why.
I'm not gonna kill you for the really like I think the people are gonna kill me. I've started it, I have yet to finish it.
I,
And it has been years. I got HBO Max fucking years ago whenever it first came out, and I never have not finished it at all yet. Even though everyone keeps telling me to skip the last season, I'm like, I just now got past the red freaking wedding scene, so you know.
you're like, let me just let this play out.
It's like I got the journey to go.
Exactly. And then now they're bringing it back, and I'm just like, God, I really need to catch up on that.
They have a whole freaking new show coming out now. It's like a
Oh,
prequel.
new show. Oh yeah, that's right. It's a prequel. God,
Hmm.
it's so funny. I'm just like, shit. Like, there's so many things that I have not caught up on because when I watch a TV show, like it has to be something that's really good that's gonna catch my attention.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't catch me within like I'm very judgmental. Like if it's like within like the first two episodes, sometimes three, sometimes I'll give it an extra shot and I'll be like, let's go for the third one. If I'm bored, I'm just like, nope, let's just find something else. And I feel like that's the way I was with Bridgerton. Like I don't feel like you feel like you were gonna make that noise because I remember everybody losing their fucking mind for Bridgerton, and I was like, okay, you know what? Let me give it a shot. I think I made it through like the first like two episodes.
Ugh,
Never once watched it again, and I
dude.
never had the interest to watch again. Everybody's just like, "Are you gonna watch season two?" I was like, "Bitch, I didn't even finish season one." I was
You
like,
need to get through it and then be angry about the fact that a character doesn't come back. But like, oh
I
my God, how do you not actually? Okay, no, I'm not actually going to get mad at you about that. I will say it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea because it is very much that stereotypical romance novel brought into a show. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure it actually was a book before, if I'm remembering right.
yeah,
It
yeah.
it
It
is
was a
originally a book. Yeah. So it's very much like 50 Shades of Grey without being, well, no, it's about the same as 50 Shades of Grey when it comes to like the raunchiness of it. Um, I don't know though. I binged the shit out of that. Like I got through the first two episodes because I was kind of the same way. I was kind of like not super sold. And then all of a sudden I was just like, I'm in it. I'm dedicated. I binged that show so fast. I binged the second season within 2 days. Like, used that whole weekend to my advantage. And I was just like, oh my God, this character. And then, of course, like me being like, I wonder what these characters like in real life. And then I freaking find out that the guy was freaking gay. And I was like, he plays an excellent straight man. I was
oh
convinced. I
yeah.
was thoroughly convinced and ready to just sell my legs to be like,
You're talking about uh Jonathan Bailey, right?
ah, yes, that man, I swear, like any
He
of his, like all of his monologues, I was just like, okay, yeah,
it's
I
like
can't go anywhere across this earth. Okay,
it's like you
all
can
right.
just like he can literally do the SpongeBob theme song
I would be
in
fine.
Patchy the Pirate's voice, and I would be sold
It
on
fucking
every.
hell.
I would be like, you can even do like a he can sing it while doing like a like what is that called? Like that God, like that. that Russian dance. The
Oh my gosh, I know what you're talking about. I have no idea what that dance is called though, but the one where they're like bent down, they're doing the little leg thing.
yes,
Yes.
like he can do that dressed as Patchy the Pirate in the voice, and I will throw myself at him. I will be like, "Sir, you are the
Oh,
most beautiful human on the planet. Like,
like for real.
can we tango? Like, let's go." But like, it's like, here's the thing. Like, Bridgerton is just one of those shows that everyone talked about, still talks about, and
Hmm.
maybe that's one of the reasons why it kind of turned me off of it, is because it was just like I could not escape it. But and it was the same thing with like Stranger Things. Like I couldn't get into Stranger Things because like I think I saw like the first two episodes, but it was just like constant just hearing about it. And I was just like, and people telling me like you have to watch it, just made me not want to watch it.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like that was the biggest thing too with me and Game of Thrones. Like everyone was talking about it, everyone was watching it, and so I did it. And
Yeah.
like it's not necessarily because I was just like, oh, I want to be different. It's just like, okay, I feel like I've heard about it enough, and there's so many freaking spoilers that I was just like, "Yeah, okay, like, is there any point in me watching this?"
I, God, there's so many spoilers everywhere. I've forgotten about most of them, but I've seen them so much.
Yeah, like,
So many Easter eggs here and here and here and here, and I'm just like, oh my God, y'all really
yeah,
shit away.
like it's ridiculous. It's so bad. It's so bad when it comes to spoilers, but. I mean, if you're not gonna give Bridgerton a try, I do say give Stranger Things because I feel like since you actually like watch horror movies and stuff, I feel like you like it. The last season's coming out. Just saying. Um,
Yeah,
give it a shot at some point. Oh my God. Okay. But anywho.
yeah. I mean, okay, but here's what's funny is to touch on this and kind of bring it back to our topic that we initially were supposed to be talking about.
Oh my God, there was
Uh,
a topic.
it's like, where's the topic gone? It is gone with the wind, my boys. But um, what do you call it? Like people get so excited over TV shows, like Bridgerton, Stranger Things, and
Hmm.
Game of Thrones. Pretty sure there's more that I'm just blanking on,
Hmm.
but it's um like back in the day, like I remember getting so excited. I don't know why, because I rewatched it a little while ago and it's not that good. Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
You don't think it's that
Well,
good?
it doesn't really hold up that well anymore. Like it's kind of
Oh,
super goofy. So I
yeah.
was like, oh, okay. But like kind of like Angel, like and Charmed, like they're all kind of
Uh-huh.
the same realm where they just like are kind of goofy and just for that time.
Yeah.
But they're very nostalgic. And I'm like, it's so funny to me because those are the shows that I would wait around for.
Oh, yeah.
Like I would come home and wait for like an episode of Charmed. I would wait for an episode of Buffy. I would God, what was that one show? Not Beverly Hills 90210. I did watch that, but not religiously. God,
Honestly, Grey's, because I used to do that with Grey's Anatomy whenever it first came out.
that's another show I
But
never
now
watched.
it's like 1,000 seasons in, and I'm just like, I can't do this anymore.
That is actually another show that I've never in my life sat down and watched.
It's a freaking commitment. I tried rewatching it all. It got to a point where I was like, it's getting a little ridiculous. I'm sorry. Meredith Grey has almost died too many times in this show for this to be realistic. Like, I can't.
I feel like they're carrying it on a little too long. I don't even know
Oh,
if
they're
it's
holding on with all their fucking might, and I'm just like, just let it go. Just let it go.
literally. I mean, the fact that they made a musical episode, and the only reason why I know this is because I saw someone react to it on YouTube, and I was just like, "You are fucking joking." I
Oh,
was, that is when you know it's the downfall. Because
oh, yeah. Once anything has a musical episode, it's just like, oh no.
it's just like I was committed to Once Upon a Time.
Yes.
Like I was here for it. I was like, that show is great. It's
Hmm.
fucking perfect. I felt like the season with the Frozen, when they brought in Frozen, was a little flimsy,
Yeah.
but it still held up. But by the time they did that musical episode,
Ugh.
I was like, I cannot keep going with this. Like
Yeah.
that is my cue to exit stage right, because this is too silly even for me. But I will say Captain Hook.
Oh my God, I was so hoping you were going to talk about him.
Oh,
That man, that
that
man can get it too.
oh God, I know. And it's so funny because like I've seen the actor, like in like regular whatever
hmm
garb, like outside of the show, and then like in the show, like with the guy liner and the
Gotta say, it's the guy liner and something about the pirate, just the whole fit, the whole thing.
uh
Like you can dress like I feel like seriously, why do I have it's essentially like again going back to like emo, like the emo guy for some reason just I'm
yes.
still so like deep down attracted so hard to
Ex-
that.
Just like, do you remember that band Never Shout Never?
Yep,
Or that singer? I don't know if it's a singer or a band,
it was
but
okay. Yeah.
he was I was obsessed with him. I
hmm
was like his from his hair to everything. I was like, this man is the cutest thing I have ever seen. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what, why?
Yep.
But anyway, straying away from the what we were talking about before, but the with Captain Hook, it's like it makes me laugh because I like every time I think of him, and anytime somebody says Captain Hook, I'm just like, for some reason, I immediately go back to 1953 Peter Pan, and I'm just like, there was nothing attractive
No.
about the cartoon Captain Hook, and I'm just like, where did he glow up? Like, what? Whose idea?
Whose
Whose idea?
idea to make him attractive? Like they should have not.
They should have not. Like, it shouldn't have happened, but I would like to thank them.
Yeah. I
I would like
mean,
to buy them a gift basket. Um,
I feel like it definitely started whenever they came out with the whole like what part of 2000s that Peter Pan movie?
oh my God.
Peter
The,
Pan.
oh,
Let me tell you. Oh
you're
my
talking about
God, that kid. I was just like, oh my God.
yes. You're talking about the 2003 one, right?
Yes, that
Yes.
kid. I don't even know what he looks like now. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm in love.
I honestly think from what I've heard, he still looks the same. I haven't looked him up or anything like that, but he still looks the same. He's just like, of course, like, a little bit older and like taller, and like he has like a little bit of like a stubble.
Oh, perfect.
Uh, like he was another crush of mine alongside Aaron Carter
Oh my
because
God.
back to the Aaron Carter, like I wanted to be Mr. Carter so bad. Like I was ready. He had a song on that Oh Aaron album that was called, I think it was called Cowgirl. And every
Okay.
time he would sing Cowgirl, I was like, Cowboy. I
It's definitely meant to be cowboy.
was like, I know he's singing about me, so Cowboy. Um,
Oh my
but
God.
oh God, that makes me laugh so much because it's like things have changed
Oh, definitely. Things have
so
changed so
much.
much.
And to know that like so many things were like our like loves or interests, or like, not to dive into risque shit, but to dive into risque shit, sexual awakening.
Um, Freaking for real though. Oh my God. Like these kids don't even know.
Oh, these kids have no idea.
Like no.
No clue. No freaking clue whatsoever. And I was actually skimming through something the other day because I was like going through like a bunch of 90s nostalgia stuff.
hmm
And I follow this page on Instagram. They're called I think it's called 30 as fuck.
Uh-huh.
and they they post like a lot of stuff, and they have like these little polls where they're like have people like choose songs like over different songs or whatever, like pick
Hmm.
like the and they had this one meme that had a hit clip. I don't know if you remember what hit clips were.
Oh, they were like the little tiny things in the little boom boxes, right?
Yes, and
Yes.
it had one earbud.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It had one earbud, and it came with those little microchip looking things that you would put inside. And why I would make my mother buy me every single one they put out, every single little chip they put out, even though the songs it would play was only like 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah, it
Like
never even played the full song. It was just like a little portion of it.
it was a little portion of the song, and I'm just like, who thought of this, and why was the marketing so good to get us so invested?
Yes.
Like I remember having Smash Mouth All Star,
Oh my gosh.
and I would sit there, and I remember you could control the volume, and we would turn it up, and it would be me and my friends, and we'd be sitting there. We would hold the earphone next to each other, and we'd all be just like, "You don't stop coming, and you don't stop coming," and it's like it's so like mind blowing. This like the technology, the toy. I don't even know if it's considered a toy. I think it's considered a toy
Yeah, it was considered a toy.
of like back in the day. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, what are these?
I know. Like, look, oh my gosh. Well, with having like all my nieces and nephews and stuff, compared to the toys that they have now versus what I had, it's startling how different some of the stuff is. But then I'm also genuinely surprised by some of the stuff that stuck around. You know that
Oh yeah.
Beyblades are still a thing?
Yeah, I saw them and I was just like, I actually saw them at Target. They designed a little bit differently, but I was just like, they still exist?
Yeah. Like freaking Beyblade still exists. I'm shocked and baffled that Yu-Gi-Oh cards are still a thing.
Yeah.
Like, thought that died a long time ago. Apparently
I
not.
thought that I thought that did too. That was one of the things I never really got into, but a lot of my friends were.
I
And
never got to actually playing the cards, but I definitely did watch the show.
I occasionally watched the show. It was kind of like Pokemon with me. Like I occasionally watched the show
Mm,
and just
Pokemon
like
I watch. I remember annoying my grandmother to like change Wheel of Fortune to put on freaking Pokemon because I knew what time it came on.
yes, when it would come on WB Kids.
Yes.
Oh God, oh God,
Who's that Pokemon? It's Pikachu. It's the
it's Pikachu.
fairy.
It's
Stop.
literally. God knows how many times that would happen to me too, because I was dead set that I knew what that Pokemon was. Like I was looking at the shape and I'm just like, I know what that is. And I would say it, and it would be something completely different. And I'm just like, gotta play the game more.
Yeah, exactly. It's like gotta play the game, gotta like pay attention. Like, come on. Oh my
And I
gosh, because
remember,
I definitely did have those cards, but of course, like when I was younger, I just wanted the cute cards, so I didn't even want like any of the cards that made sense, any of the cards that would help me win. No, no, I wanted all the cute ones. Like
oh yeah,
I had freaking like the Seal, I had Ponita, like all like your cutesy ones that were pretty. Those were my characters. Those were my cards.
like Ninetales. Like I loved Ninetales. That was one of my
I
favorite.
I still love Ninetales. Like Ninetales is fantastic. And the fact
It's
that they basically use Pokemon characters for Shang-Chi made me very happy because I got
um
to see like what Ninetales would look like as like a real thing.
I will say that is kind of what I appreciated about Detective Pikachu.
Yes.
Now, I wasn't like a huge fan of like the movie itself. Like I didn't really care about
No.
like the movie itself was just kind of just there to me. But
Hmm.
it was just seeing them
Exactly.
different format. I was just like, oh my God.
Like they did so well with them. And it's
Oh,
so funny because that's whenever like that movie came out and then they brought up like Sonic the Hedgehog and they messed him up so dirty. And I was just like, what? Like y'all were able to do this with all the freaking Pokemon, but yet you did that to Sonic. I'm so glad they listened and changed him to actually look like the freaking character that we all knew.
oh yeah.
Because the original one was so like haunting. It was terrifying to look at. His face was so scary.
It was pure nightmare fuel. I was
Yeah,
just like, I
it
don't know
really
what they were.
freaking was. It's like they took Sonic and then if you've ever seen like the characters from like what is it, like Big Cup or Cuphead? Cuphead. The character from
Oh
Cuphead.
yes.
It gave me
Yeah.
that kind of like nightmarish fuel, like feel. But I was just
Yeah.
like, no, never gonna watch that.
It gave me very like weird side of YouTube, like salad fingers kind of shit.
Salad. Clay's never, ever in his life has seen salad fingers, and I think he's lying to me because he knows how to do the voice, creepy ass salad finger voice whenever he wants to fuck with me whenever he turns the lights off. And it's so terrifying. He'll like shut the lights off whenever I'm in a room and just do like the creepy like the recipe spoons. And I'm just like, no.
Like that was another thing. Like why? Like
Again,
it was so creepy and disturbing and weird and made no sense and served no purpose, but yet we all watched it.
we did. Just like good old Greg.
Oh God.
I'm old Greg. I have a mangina.
I remember that. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. And anytime anyone ever says Bailey's, I got Bailey's in my shoe.
That was like
Oh,
that was iconic. Oh God.
the things that are stuck in my brain that I really wish would get out. Like I would have
Honestly,
so much more room for so much stuff if
honestly,
that shit didn't reside in there.
it's just how we were. Like, I wouldn't say it's how we were all raised because this had nothing to do with our parents.
Oh no.
Just how we kind of raised ourselves on culture.
Yeah.
And it's so weird because it's so different now.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Oh, it's so wild now compared to what we did. Like honestly, like the craziest thing to me is seeing how there is no awkward phase. Like none of them have gone through the awkward phase that we had to go through. They automatically hit their glow up, and I am pissed about it.
so
I'm
I'm
like, where? Especially for like me being a girl and going through the whole phase of like I had, all the different like lip glosses that looked like Coke bottles and crap and like the blue eyeshadow and the freaking way too drawn on freaking eyeliner and crap. And I'm just like, how come y'all are skipping that? Why does my freaking like I remember my niece, she was like maybe 10 and she knew how to contour better than I did.
oh my God.
And I was like, I'm sorry. And she was over here giving me pointers and I'm like, how does she know? She's 10. Like, how does she know how to do this? And she does it so well. Like she has makeup better than me. It pisses
It's
me
so
off. And like,
it's I don't understand what happened. Like the
I
rest
don't.
of us are like a lot of people say like I look like I like not to toot my own horn, but like toot toot. Um, like some people say like like when I'm clean shaven or something, like somebody has said like I look like I'm maybe like 2021.
Hmm.
Just like, oh well, that's very thoughtful of you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And then I see like all these people that are just like these kids that are God, I don't know, like 16. They look like they're like 27. I'm
Oh
like,
my
what
God, I know.
I'm like, what the hell is happening? I was just like, when I was your age, I looked like I was my age. Like,
Exactly. Like I looked like a child, and then at some point I finally looked like a damn adult. I don't know when that happened, but it happened.
like, like I look like an adult, but I still have like the child features. Like I
Yeah.
still pass for like a lot younger.
Uh-huh.
I'm just like, I just see all these kids that are just passing for a lot older.
Oh, I know.
And it
Like
is the weirdest thing.
it is, it's super weird. It's so crazy. Like just that. And I feel like maybe part of that has a lot to do with like one, food. Like
Food. Yeah.
me working in healthcare, I can go on a whole like tangent about like food and all the crap that's in it. But like having so much access to everything though, like
Oh,
with people that like to wear makeup, like that's the reason why they know how to do it so well because they do watch all the people that like have, different videos like YouTube series and stuff about it where they show different things like that. And then same with clothes. Like I watch so many, like there's this one TikToker actually that she does a get ready with me every single day and I just like love watching her like different styles and stuff. And like kids watch that and then they get like these cool style ideas and stuff from that. And not even just from that, but like shows and stuff too have changed a lot to where they touch on that like a ton. It's just they
yeah,
have
it's
more access to stuff to where they're like, okay, well, if that's what they're doing, then I'm going to do that too. It's interesting.
it it's wild to me because I'm just like, we grew up with like having access to like certain things at a
Hmm.
point, like we didn't well, I mean we didn't have YouTube until like what 2005. So
Yeah.
like it's like when we were at that age like watching YouTube, like we were watching stuff that was like people just like vlogging and talking, people just like vlogging and joking and like
Hmm.
pranks and like stupid things, and like some of it was stupid, some of it was fun, and a lot of it was like funny that just kind of sits in that in that zone of our brain that's just like, oh, those were fun times. And then like now people are just like all about tutorials and like
Uh-huh.
discussions and all this other stuff, and I'm just like, that is so different.
Like it definitely made like a whole change in like, and I'm sure a lot of it too because they started making stuff so that they could get monetized.
Oh
And
yeah.
so they had to make stuff that people would want to continually come back and watch, not just like, oh, this is really funny. We watch it for a few seconds and like we move on. So it definitely changed a ton in that aspect for sure.
Oh yeah. Just like
Because
I
like,
one of the first things I ever watched on YouTube was funny enough was Boxy. I don't remember Boxy.
see who the hell is Boxy?
She was like that emo girl that would like she was like in a dark room or whatever, and she had like her like long pulled up sleeves, and she was like super like bubbly, and she like would literally get up in the camera and she'd be like, hey guys, my name is Boxy, and stuff like that. So
Whoa.
it was a lot to take in, but I was just like, why do I like this?
Yeah.
And I remember that was like one of the first videos I ever watched, and I was just like, I actually think she's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then I think one of the other videos I started watching were like parodies, and
Mm-hmm.
which you don't really see a lot of those anymore either. Uh,
No.
and then Jenna Marbles.
Oh my God, Jenna Marbles.
And Jenna Marbles was like my number one. Like I watched her all the freaking time.
Yeah.
That video of how to make people think you're really good looking when you're ugly or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That video lives in my brain because it is probably one of the funniest and most random videos I had ever come across.
Uh-huh.
And I think it already, well, by the time I had come across it, I think it was already at like maybe, God, maybe like 3 million views.
Yeah.
And God, now it's probably at like 90 or more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, it's so funny to me how now kids will just search up mukbangs, and
Yeah.
other shit. And I'm just like, that's not like I've watched a few mukbangs, but like it I don't know. Unless it has some like funny commentary with it or someone's like has some commentary, like maybe I'll keep watching, but like if I'm just sitting there watching someone eat, like it's kind of awkward. So,
Yeah, I've never got the appeal of mukbangs. Just like, even though I say that, but now I've kind of changed my viewpoint a little bit. But like ASMR videos, I
uh,
never could really do them. Even though I'm not gonna lie, I found myself on a weird part of TikTok where it's like people getting like facials and stuff, and there's
uh,
facial ASMR.
yes, I have seen those.
That is weirdly satisfying. So I
Here's the thing.
guess maybe it's that. Maybe like all of a sudden you just think something is like, huh, like this is mind-numbingly like satisfying. So now I'm gonna stick here for a while.
Here's the thing with me, like I've went through several weird phases of YouTube to where
Mhm.
it's like I mainly watched comedy, I mainly watched parodies, I would watch a lot of music videos, and then I started watching a lot of movie reviews,
Hmm.
and then I kind of started moving more into unboxings. I don't know why, but I liked
Oh,
watching unboxing videos for some reason,
yeah.
and I just thought they were fun. And then it dove more into like ASMR. So when I got into ASMR, it wasn't like someone talking into the mic. It wasn't like hearing someone chew on something. It was
Uh-huh.
those videos of like people like crushing like bone
Yeah.
or like crushing like I know it was a perfectly good waste of an apple, but like driving over an apple and just like hearing like the noise, I don't know, something about it was like very satisfying.
Okay, yeah, I can actually agree with that because those freaking episodes, like the ones where they cut up the soap into little dices and then they go through with the knife and like cut them all off.
Oh yes.
I like that sound.
And so do I. Like
Like,
I found a channel on you on TikTok that does
mhm,
that, and I'm just like, this is great.
I
Like
love
I could sit
that.
there and scroll for like hours. Like
There's
just
there's a YouTuber that I watched her on oh God, I saw him on Vine. That I ended up transitioning over to YouTube with, and his name's Kian Toomey. He's uh he's from Ireland, but he started watching these like his mainly got famous for making videos like acts like his girlfriend, and it's really funny. Um, but he started like watching reacting to these videos, and like a lot of them have been like most satisfying videos or whatever. And like I just basically sit there and I listen to his commentary and it's always something funny, but then I like immediately trance out as soon as like the video that we're supposed to be watching goes on. And I'm just like, okay. And like I kind of get the ASMR when it's like that, when it's like the sound, not someone eating, not someone talking to me. I can't do like
yeah.
no. Like I drives me nuts.
Oh yeah, same. Absolutely.
Like I can't do that. But yeah, the satisfying sounds though, like I'm kind of here for. Maybe it's because I'm ADHD, but I don't know.
Honestly, I feel like we're all a little ADHD in some aspect.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, I had this really hilarious conversation with my aunt the other day because something this popped somewhere on I think it was like on my feed somewhere,
Hmm.
and they were talking about how you can take the SARS test, so like to test for like autism.
Hmm.
I was just like, you know what, let me just do it, I don't know, just to see, just to do it.
Yeah.
Tell me why all the questions I would they ask you,
Hmm.
I was relating to a lot of them, and I was just like, this is not what I expected to.
This is not
I
what I expected to happen.
I was like, please. I was like, no offense, but like, uh, do I?
I mean, the
And
spectrum is very large though, so I mean, it is very easy, I think, to end up landing on it on in one way or another. for
Right. Right.
sure.
And they said that one of the things was my aunt just laughed off. She's like, "There's no way," but she's like, "You're just reading too far into it." But they said one of the things was that when you obsess over something, and like I don't
Hmm.
obsess over things, but like I do that. It said when you obsess, but you constantly conversate on a certain topic.
Uh-huh.
And I was just like, well, I kind of don't shut the fuck up about movies. And I thought about it. I was just like, do I? But then, I kind of thought about it and they were just like, well, but when you don't understand the notion of the other party not being like fully committed to the same conversation or interested in the conversation.
Yeah.
And usually when that happens, like like it kind of popped in my head. I was just like, maybe not. Maybe I am just obsessed with movies, but I'm not on the spectrum. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
because I
like
mean
I
that
usually
in
know when
those
it.
instances, like it's the social cue aspect of it. It's not the fact that
Yeah.
like you like talking about those things. It's catching on to the social cue of, okay, this individual is not interested in this. Like I have to always my younger brother always calls me all the time, so he is on the spectrum. He has Asperger's, and he does always do that. Like he'll call me randomly, and I just call it my random call of the day of just random facts in his life or something that he sees going on. And it's about something I would not even give a single shit about. But I'm just like, that's fine. This is his way of checking in with me. I'm fine with that. So I just like sit there and I conversate back. And it's always something so freaking random. And the one that always makes me laugh is that I graduated from this really small school that like apparently recently closed down because their funding was just like gone. um and he like called me up and he was just like, "Do you want me to like go over there and get you the trophies and stuff from whenever y'all went to state and all this stuff?" And I was just like, "Leave it to you to think that I would want any of that." Like, I don't care. But I mean, I thought it was very sweet though, the fact that he actually like thought of me in that sense. And I was just like, you know what? Sure, go try finding it. See if they'll let you have it. Like,
Like,
have fun with that kid. Um, but yeah, random things like that. But anywho, that's my own little bunny trail. Um,
oh, we've had quite a few.
oh
Like
my
I
God,
just
I
have a whole
know.
bunch to tell about.
Um, but yeah, honestly, like TikTok has been the thing though that I feel like obviously is this newer generation's like, and a lot of generations are obviously on it, but like this dang young generation, man, they like to freaking call out us. But I've also had a lot of things. They're very like more, what's the word I'm looking for? They're definitely a lot more like in tuned with themselves and they acknowledge things that I never would have thought to like acknowledge within myself or even begin to even question. And then they make these videos about it and I'm just like, I do that. Are you calling me out? I feel called out. Like I feel kind of like targeted with this and it's just like I was like, damn, like they're talking about shit that I haven't even talked to my therapist about. So it's just like, huh, okay.
It's like
Little woke
don't
children.
it's like don't come for me, you 15-year-old person. Like
Exactly. I was like, shit, okay. Because, like, I've never thought about, like, because honestly, the biggest one that I was really surprised about, no, two things I was really surprised about was um just PTSD and the way that it shows up in people from
oh yeah.
like any like type of trauma that like you like endured for a long period of time. And I was just like, I never thought of that because when I think PTSD, I go to the extreme of PTSD, and that's usually me thinking of people like in the military or police force or something that like if someone has shot at you, that is
Oh
usually
right.
where my brain goes.
Yeah, something like super, super traumatic.
Exactly, like something extremely traumatic or going through like or you surviving like these terrible wars and stuff and you've had to like escape them or something. Anyway, so like stuff like that has come up and then I'm just like, I do all of these defense mechanisms and I like talk to my therapist about it. I was like, this is something you've never brought up before. She's like, well, we also haven't gone that in depth yet about it because you don't want to. And I was like, yeah, I'm a little closed up about stuff. Not gonna lie. And then she's just like, yeah, you also like to dissociate. And I'm like, TikTokers have told me that as well. I do like to dissociate. And she's like, seriously, TikTok? And I was like, girl, let me tell you.
Let me tell you what they've drug out of me.
That I was just like, I do that. That and like being anywhere remotely close on any type of like ADD, ADHD like side of it. And like actually wanting to like figure out is like, do I actually land on that? Or maybe I'm just like spastic and random and can't focus on one thing.
Oh my
Very
God.
much like, oh, squirrel. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I know exactly how that is. Like Doug from.
yeah. So I was just like, I don't know. But like for real though, like I'm very impressed. Like as much as I could like bash on some of the stuff that I always think like this younger generation is just like how the older generation always bashes on us millennials.
Mhm.
Honestly, everyone bashes on millennials, but the
Always.
freaking boomers and them do it more. Um, is that how like great they have gotten about being able to talk about stuff and like actually putting it into like the forefront rather than like pushing it down and hiding it because it's just like, oh, you're not supposed to feel these things. Oh, you're not supposed to talk about this. So right on to y'all. Like you've made it now to where I am more courageous to talk about this stuff too. And like, because it's all stuff that I've always been like passionate about, but I just never like would want to talk about it because it was so taboo. And they're
Yeah,
making all this stuff that was taboo now like not. So good on y'all. Not gonna bash on y'all for that. Like that's kind of
you,
badass. Good for y'all
ex-
for like bringing that for the newer generations and stuff.
it's
So
like you guys do you because we could never touch on those subjects back
oh,
then.
no, like we
At that
couldn't.
age. Like it was either we couldn't because of a different kind of entity that was letting us do it, or
Hmm.
it was just we weren't comfortable. It always fell in those same kind of fields of like maybe this isn't something that we should be discussing
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And it's like it's so interesting to see how a generation can change. And
Hmm.
like you say, how like boomers really, really get on millennials, and everyone always says millennials are lazy. And I'm just like, hey, we're trying our best.
Had to say is like we were dealt some real shit cards by you fuckers.
Exactly. Like
We are doing what we can with them.
we are doing what we can. Adulthood is not easy or fun, okay?
No. Like
So, I mean, oh man.
there is no like oh my God, the one that will forever and always piss me off is just like, oh, why haven't you finished college yet? Because college is expensive.
Yep.
And most of the college now, they like anticipate you to take on like a full-time job.
Oh yeah.
Like you can't do that shit. You can't do like you literally have no life if you
You
end up wanting to like and especially like if you're wanting to go like farther into college. So like what I'm wanting to do, I need to go get a freaking doctorate for. Like I already have my undergrad. I'm part of the way there. It's just the grad school part, and I don't have the type of support that they had where like, oh, my parents would let me come home or like they would help me be able to pay for this, or I was able to get a part-time job and able to pay for college. I'm like, cool beans, grandpa. Like I can't.
It's like good for you.
Like I wish, but that's just not how the economy worked for me. So here we are.
Nope. Nope. The economy was much different back then. Like, have y'all seen gas prices now? Hello.
Freaking for real. Oh my God. I like cried a little bit. I filled up my tank today and it was $50 and I was like,
Wait.
no.
I'm actually scared to fill up mine. Like, I still have like a couple hundred miles, but like,
It's bad because it shot up just recently too.
yeah, it went up. Like, the last time I filled up, it was like below 4, so it was like
Yeah.
I think it was like 370. So I was just like, okay, it's not awful, so I'm
Yeah.
okay. And then now, like I drive past it, and like regular is like four, like 439, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
this. I'm like, we are about to hit California status.
I know. I literally was talking about that the other day too. I was like, man, like California prices are up at like $5. And then I go to freaking gas station day. I was like, shit, it is 4.39.
It is
No.
4:39. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lost Texas.
Freaking for real. And of course, like I can't even say that. Like I was gonna say we live in this like the city, but no, I freaking went home last weekend to good old sticks of Texas, and it was more expensive there than it was here.
It's the weirdest thing.
It's
It's the weirdest.
wild.
It is rotten to the core about the way they do us, this generation.
Dude, for
Like
real.
it is awful. It is absolutely awful.
It is.
Man.
And
Oh
they're
boy.
gonna they're always gonna talk about that birth decrease. Yeah, we can't afford it. Like, do you
Exactly.
know what it is to have a child? Fuck that.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's like I can barely take care of myself right now, okay?
Exactly. Like I have two fur children and they're expensive, especially freaking my epileptic child over here who has to have special food, special medicine, all this shit. Yeah, I'm talking to you. She popped her head up. She's like, "Yeah, mom. What?"
She was just, she was like, "Yeah, you mentioned me.
You rang.
You rang." Oh man, yeah, it's definitely not a fun ride.
No,
So
it's
get
not.
off our backs. Get off our backs. We millennials are trying our hardest.
We are. We
Trust
just
me.
dealt some terrible cards.
Literally, like, trust me, I am trying my hardest. As I turn around and I look at my like Kiki's Delivery Service pillows and Hogwarts merch, and
Hey, we have to do something that gives us some fucking serotonin, all right? It's important.
honestly, honestly, and living in the nostalgic phase is the serotonin that we all need.
Exactly. Like I can literally stare across my room. I have like plush chilling on my freaking dresser.
Oh my God.
Ah, I love it. It's the original cartoon one. It's my favorite.
Oh yeah, that would be my favorite too, because that's actually my favorite iteration of the movie. Like I did like Tim Burton's, but the
Mm.
animated one just always one of my
It's so good. I mean, Alice in Wonderland is just like my favorite because I have the book and everything too.
oh,
But
book is
like,
fantastic.
so it's so good.
The book is fantastic. And just like for me, another one would be Peter Pan, because Peter Pan,
Oh, yes.
like, don't get me wrong, I like the 2003 one.
Hmm.
I don't remember Pan that much. I know I probably saw it.
Hmm.
But the original animated one is just top tier. Just so,
Oh,
like, of course it has its social issues, which
yeah,
of course
definitely.
of course did not realize until later. But
No.
it's just so much fun, and just like that scene of them taking off from the nursery going to
Uh-huh.
Neverland is just like iconic. Like,
Yep.
it's iconic. Alice in Wonderland's iconic. Like, it's just one of those things. Like you said, this is all serotonin that we definitely need to keep.
Oh, yeah. Like we got to keep this shit.
Like,
Something's gonna help us get through the day here, okay?
I here's the funny. I was at Target the other day and I almost bought the Lego set for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh my gosh,
I
that
was
would have
like,
been cool.
should I do it? Should I do it? And it's the Lego set with the fight with God, the octopus. What is it? Cthulhu? Is it Cthulhu?
Cthulhu?
Yeah,
I
I don't remember who it is. I don't remember what the name of it was, but
don't
it's
remember what its actual name is, but my brain was like, oh, it's Cthulhu with a giant eye, but it's not actually
it's not
Cthulhu.
actually Cthulhu. Yeah, I was like, it's not actually Cthulhu, but it's
No.
close. It's very
Yes.
close. But I almost bought that whole Lego set, and I'm just like, you child. But then I'm just like, no, who cares? It's for you.
Yeah,
It's for you. You have fun with it.
exactly. Like I will say I noticed that our generation does definitely have like when it comes to like memorabilia stuff. Like if it's a plush, if it's a Lego set, if it's a pop figure, whatever, movies, books, like we definitely hold on a lot more to stuff from our childhood.
Oh yeah,
A lot.
absolutely,
Because like most of
absolutely.
the time people are just like, okay, like you're an adult now, like have adult shit. And I'm just like, I do. I have my adult stuff, but I also have my stuff that just makes me happy. Like on my bookcase, I have my like whole little Harry Potter section because that's still like I still reread those books every year in October. Same fucking time every
Oh,
year. I'll
nice.
reread them and then November I rewatch them because that to me is like I'm not a huge Christmas person, so that to me is like my Christmas movies. I'll start watching them in November and I'll finish them in December. So like that's kind of like my ritual, my thing that makes me happy through that time of year. Like, and I know other people that do that too. Like, oh my gosh, Avatar and the Last Airbender. Like, one of my friends has an Appa plushie on one
Oh,
of their beds, and I was just like, I love it, and it's the best thing ever when I get to stay in that guest room because I'm like, yes, please, I will cuddle the shit out of this.
it's like this. He will stay with me.
Exactly. Like, thank you. Um, like, I don't know. It's interesting to see that and like. Because like my dad actually still had like he had a toy from whenever he was younger, but he kept his in storage. And it's like our generation's just like, oh, I'm just gonna put this out in front. Like I still have my baby bear. Like I the thing that I came home from the hospital, still have it. Like
Just like me. Just like me. I have my lamb chop puppet.
like seriously, and like the shit's falling apart. Like it's been through it, but
Yeah.
still here.
Oh my God. The homegirl has been through some shit. She looked like she went through like all the Fast and the Furious movies and the fucking Karate Kid movies and got her and then got thrown into like the Marvel dimension and then came back because she looks like shit.
Oh
But
yeah.
she is still holding strong like a survivor.
Same. Like I'm very surprised that Bear has any eyes left. Like they're so scratched and messed up. And I'm sure at some point one of them probably had to get sewn back in, and the nose is starting to like miss some of the string because it has like that soft, like silky string kind of like nose or whatever.
Yeah.
I always debate on sending it into like one of those toy repair like places because there's such like a thing now that again another TikTok I'll follow is whenever they do like these stuffed toy repairs because I'm impressed as hell at how like good they make them look when they're done.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's so funny. Like I'm just like I thought about it. I'm just like, should I take her to have like a restoration done?
Yeah.
Like why not? Like let's have her look like when I first got her when I was like 3, like
Yeah.
like 28 years ago.
Oh.
Um but like back on the thing of millennials holding on to stuff, like I held on to this thought. I was just like, you know what? Let me actually rewatch Scooby Doo, but the live action Scooby Doo movies. And
Yes.
I know so many people trash on them. They're just like, God, movies are terrible. And I'm just like, I wonder if it will hold up because it had been a very, very long time since I had actually sat and watched them.
Hmm.
So I was like, let me see if they hold up and let me see if my opinion changes as an adult. But I'm just like, I know it's stupid. I know it's silly. But while I was watching it, I still had so much fun.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just so goofy to watch and it's fun. And I like it. And I like how simplistic it is and it does not take itself seriously
Yeah.
at all. And I'm like, this is great. And there's a lot of adult jokes in the movie that I did not catch.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, that's anything though. There's so many adult jokes and stuff that I was just like, wow, I like that went right over my freaking head.
Like right over. And I wasn't like a oblivious child. Like I would kind of get the gist of certain things, or I would ask. And
Hmm.
most of my family was pretty blunt if I asked enough.
Yeah.
And so I kind of really knew, but like there's a lot of stuff that I just kind of either just glossed over or I don't know. But I was watching it. I was like, oh my god, they really went there with some of these movies. And I heard a commentary somewhere where the Scooby Doo movie was actually supposed to be. Uh, I think they initially were going to cut it to be R, but then they dropped it down to be PG-13. And
Wait, the Scooby-Doo movie is PG-13?
well, it's actually PG,
I
so
was
they
like,
changed it.
what the fuck?
I know it's PG, but it initially was going to be PG-13, and that's when they got the
Oh.
whole cast to sign on to it. So
Mhm.
the cast signed on to it because it was supposed to be a little bit raunchier and a little bit like more like of a parody kind of
Yeah.
goofiness, whatever.
Hmm.
And they were here for it. So Warner Brothers intervened. They were just like, no, we don't want our property to change into that. So they made them change it into a more family friendly, and that's where we get this one.
Hmm.
And that's why so many people hate it, because they're just like, it's just like a fart infested, just like stupid, like goofy movie.
Yeah, but the
And
thing is, that's how Scooby-Doo was. That makes sense.
it makes sense. Like don't get me wrong. Like I would probably now probably like to see a PG-13 version just to see what they would do with it.
Yeah.
But I still love this one, and I still preserve this one. I think this one is so much fun to watch. And the entire cast actually hates that movie. Like, they
Really?
despise it with a passion. And
Which
that like
so
hurt my
baffles
soul.
me.
I
Yeah.
know that like hurt my soul. I was just like, but like I wanted to be you guys. like
Yeah.
like to be in that kind of movie and to be like in those kind of situations, to like have that much fun on a set, because you know they had fun obviously.
Yeah.
But um
Mm. That
I,
makes me sad that they don't freaking like it because I freaking like I love those movies. And like I love the fact that like it was Matthew Lillard and Freddie Prinze Jr. and like
oh yes,
these like freaking actors and actresses that I was just like, dude, like this is such a ass.
it really was. It really was. Like I remember when uh and what's so funny is Freddie Prinze Jr. wasn't even going to do it, but when Sarah Michelle Gellar signed on
Hmm.
and she agreed to do Daphne, which I couldn't picture anyone else playing Daphne, honestly. Like I thought she did
Yeah.
shit. Um, she had to like convince him to do
Yeah.
it because he did not want to do it at all. And I couldn't picture
Um,
anyone different playing, Shaggy than Matthew Lillard. And, especially seeing like the weird career journey of Matthew Lillard.
yeah.
I'm just like, to see him play a crazy serial killer in Scream, to
Freaking idle hands.
Shaggy, to what was that other movie? He did another movie with Freddie Prinze Jr. I think it was called Summer Catch.
Oh
He,
yeah.
and he was like the high friend or something. I think I don't know,
Yeah.
something like that. And the
Essentially
stoner
Shaggy.
friend. And then I was just like literally the transition in Shaggy, but it was like so funny to me because I'm just like, you guys were like the perfect casting.
Yeah. And
I was
like
like,
none of y'all actually wanted to be in it, but yet y'all were made for these characters.
and somebody brought up a good point because they said that they all hated the first one, but they still made the second one.
Huh.
But I think it was like more of like a contractual kind of thing,
Yeah.
because I mean the first one was like so successful.
Yeah.
Um, I still think the second one's a lot of fun too. I don't like it as much as the first,
Hmm.
but I still think the second one's pretty funny.
I remember owning like both of them on DVD and like watching all like the little deleted scenes and all that stuff with
Oh
them
yeah,
and like just getting to
yes.
see how like all of it was made and then of course like I remember oh my gosh I remember being in my room and I want to say it's the one whenever like the monsters are unleashed
Oh
It's
yeah,
whenever Scooby and Shaggy go to like that bad guy like bar and they dance and stuff. So one of like the little special things that you got on the DVD is that they taught you the dance that they did.
oh, that's cute.
And I learned how to like do the dance in my room and I was doing it at like 10 o'clock at night. That way like no one would walk in. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I remember those days. That was so great. That's so much fun.
Nowadays,
Oh
you don't
Lord.
really get that anymore.
You really don't. You really don't. Apparently the first Scooby-Doo movie, they had like a whole animated uh opening sequence that they were gonna do instead.
Oh,
And I saw the clip because it's on YouTube. Like you can just find it on YouTube. But um I feel like it would have worked really good in the end because
yeah.
it would have been like a nice callback.
Yeah.
Um I was I was thinking about the Scoob movie that they made a couple of years ago
Hmm.
and how much I hate that movie. And it's not even the entire movie because the first 15 minutes I absolutely loved.
Yeah, but the first 15 minutes, wasn't it whenever they were like kids?
Yeah, like when you first have Shaggy meet Scooby and they're like having their like little, bringing them together and then he meets the
Uh-huh.
other ones and I'm just like and then they have their little haunted house adventure
Yeah.
and then they did that recreation of the original Scooby-Doo opening and I
Yes.
was like that was perfect. The moment the opening ends, the movie just takes a giant nosedive. And I was like I don't know what happened. Like I some people really like that movie. Some people thought it was like great because it was so different. And I'm just
Yeah.
like I not me.
Yeah.
Was not on board with anything they were doing here. The the villains, nope, nothing about it. Nothing about the cameos worked. No, I hated the Blue Falcon. It got on my nerves.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was, but I kind of wish it would have been more like a Scooby Doo on Zombie Island
Oh my gosh, if they would have done that, that would have been so cool.
because that I remember when I first saw that movie that actually scared the shit out of me.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
it. I
just like
remember actually being scared of that one.
I was like they really went for it with this one
Yeah,
and
because I loved that one, and then whenever they brought my gosh, the band one, what is their name?
oh, the witches ghost, the Hex Girls.
Yes, the Hex Girls.
Yes,
Freaking love the Hex Girls.
yes. You can find what's so funny is the fact that so many people have like demanded it that you can actually find their stuff on streaming now.
I love that.
Like I have the albums downloaded on my phone because I was just like they popped in my brain so many times where I'm just like randomly I'll just be standing in the kitchen and I'm just like, I'm a hex girl and I'm gonna put a spell on and I'm just like, why can't I find this anywhere? Sure enough,
Yeah,
the world listened and then we're just like, here you go.
we'll
But
give it to you, I suppose.
we'll give it to you. You know, you millennials have suffered enough. Let's give you this. Let's bring you back some nostalgia. Just like the Lizzie McGuire soundtrack. You can find that on streaming now too. And I'm just like, that's wild.
Yeah,
Because that and it's also wild to know that the movie is gonna be 20 years old next year.
stop it.
But I know I know the fact that Scooby Doo's turned 20 years old too.
Yeah.
Um uh the Lizzie McGuire movie, like you got that iconic, just not only her songs on her own, but that
Mhm.
"This Is What Dreams Are Made Of" song
Oh, yeah.
that is just completely iconic. And you cannot, I remember back in the day, like you could not hear somebody say "Hey" or "Now" or "Hey now" in the same scenario without thinking or immediately following up with that song.
Oh, definitely. Like you'll immediately say, "This is what dreams are made of."
Yeah,
Like,
like it was just like an impulse.
yeah,
And God, oh, I miss those days so much.
same.
The simplicity, even of the early, like not even just the early aughts, but like the early tens, just like even just like a little over a decade ago was still so much fun, and it does not feel like a decade ago.
Yeah,
Like it's so weird to me, just like to know that the Killers' Mr. Brightside, which was like a huge song when I was like, God, I think like in the 5th or 6th grade. And that song is 18 years old. Like,
yeah.
what?
That's so crazy that it's actually that freaking old. But like the fact that stuff like that too, like it still sticks around and you hear it. So like whenever I go to concerts and stuff, and they always like play some music or something like beforehand, that song will get the whole freaking crowd. Like everyone knows every single word, and it doesn't matter how old you are. Like
Oh, yeah.
everyone knows it.
Everyone knows that song. Like, if you don't know that song, I don't know where you've been, but like,
Yeah,
everyone knows that song. It's just
yeah,
like I was at a concert one time and they played Everybody from the Backstreet Boys.
yeah.
Everyone knows that song. Like the moment you hear everybody, like you know what it is. You're
Oh,
just like, okay.
exactly. Honestly, I'm like, oh, I'm ready. I'm here for
Oh yeah.
it.
It's like, oh, we already know. We're here for it. Go. And another song that always just from the intro that gets me is Genie in a Bottle from Christina.
Oh, yeah.
The moment I hear that whatever,
Uh-huh.
like I immediately I'm just like I'm waiting for that weird like suck in drop where it's just like and then it's
Yes.
do 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 do, and I'm just like, my God, like this takes me back so much.
Yeah.
Like it's so it's so weird.
It's
Ugh.
crazy how it sticks like that.
It really is. It really is. All right. Well, as we have, like you say, bunny trailed our way through this one, we
Mm-hmm.
we have made this episode 2 hours and 27 minutes.
Lord, I didn't even realize this
I
happened. This might as well have been Tony and Shannon car thoughts because this is usually what ends up happening.
honestly, that's exactly what this. That's exactly what this is. But yeah, I think this is where we're gonna have to end it because otherwise it's gonna be way too fucking long.
Yeah,
Um,
true. Very true.
Thank you so much for coming on and us discussing the many many thoughts that we had on everything.
Yes, of course. I'm, yeah, you are very welcome to get lost on this journey with you. It has been fantastic.
Literally, to just go on the nostalgia train of nostalgia roundabouts is great.
Yeah.
Um, what do you call it? So, tell if you would like, tell everybody
Mhm.
where they can find you and follow
Uh,
you.
yes, Instagram, my name's called Daisley Stewart, which is Daisily Stewart, which is how you spell my last name. But I'm on it, but I'm on Instagram. I would say that I am on TikTok. I have not made TikTok videos in a while, but surprisingly still have followers. You're more than welcome to find me on there. Same tag. So yeah, have a follow. I'm just chilling on there. My thing is literally just finding my way through life because it is a struggle and it's
I
been a ride.
totally understand. I totally vibe with that. I life is but a mystery,
It's
you
like
know.
me just trying to find my way through life and just finding little things that I find joy in it. So, just come along, join.
Exactly, exactly. Just like when we hold on to our nostalgia, like
Exactly.
that's our joy. Let
It's
us
our joy.
let us have our toys, our toys and our kids' movies.
Yeah.
Oh man. Alrighty. Well, it has been a pleasure of us taking this journey. So I shall let you go, and
All
I will
right.
let the podcast go for the evening, and shall be back next week. And God only knows what I'm going to discuss next week, but I'll probably figure that out maybe this weekend, uh, hopefully. Um, but yeah, much love, and thank you everybody for listening.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Thought Bubbles. We hope you enjoyed the episode. If you want to know more about our podcast, just follow the socials at thoughtbubbles_podcast on Instagram and thoughtb_pod on Twitter. If you have any more ideas for what we could talk about, or if you want to join on and be a guest, just let me know. We can pretty much talk about everything.